Now, the show don't start till 11.
How to do a talk show.
Absolutely.
George Bush, live a place you can land so that you can avoid Vietnam. Now you said you served active duty just fine. Might you be absent in your mind? George Bush, your position's at stake, 'cause John Kerry is out to seal your fate. It's those questions about the National Guard that might leave your reputation scarred. It's fun to say you're not AWOL, and you can prove you're not AWOL. What a funny thing, the military can't find where you were in that 1 year's time. You partied and you went AWOL. Your daddy helped you go AWOL. If you'd only come clean with a story that's real, you might earn back voter appeal.
Did he say Israel? I'm pretty sure that's what he said.
Wait for it.
Yeah, here it comes. I love it. 10:33, 27 before the Neil Rogers Show at 11 o'clock. Let's see, we got the Mad Dog at 2, the Humper at 4, Geldy at 7, and Eddie K at 10. What a pristine lineup that is. How do you like that? I'll always see tomorrow. We got, Humper must be either back on vacation or suspension again. I don't know what the deal is. Because tomorrow we got Joe Zagacki from 4 to 7.
Joe Zagacki sucks, okay?
Okay.
And then on Friday we got Geldy fill in for the Humper. So he must either be going off to Vegas again to plunge his guts out, or who knows what in this place, right? Who the hell knows what? So today's like an experiment for us, because this is the first day. I mean, I said on Monday that we were going to be doing just filler material till 11 o'clock, because we have to start the show at 11. Because this business are coming on at a different time every day. Obviously, it don't work, do it?
No.
There's not a chance in hell. It's like we've been butchered, we've been slaughtered, we've been attacked, we've been assassinated. And so as a result, we have to, pick ourselves up by somebody's bootstrap and whip it. So I'm thinking to myself, well, just what we ought to really do is take a lot of calls before 11 o'clock, don't you think?
Might as well.
Yeah, get some of those in. Now, don't forget the Miami debut screening of Rush to War, a 1-hour documentary by Miami native and noted film producer Bob Tacher, will be shown. Oh, that was yesterday. Will be shown yesterday. I thought it was going to be tomorrow.
No.
Well, it was last night, so if you missed it, shame on you.
Maybe we'll get some reports on it.
You think?
Right.
I doubt that. It'll be shown last night at 7:30 and 9:30 at the Flavor Nightclub. Well, that's just to make up with the Woody Graver, because you piss him off all the time.
All the time.
I don't know if we're doing what. Maybe for those crappy tickets he always gives us. So if you want to hear about who won the poll yesterday and today's poll and the Beaded Curtain and the start of the show, check back with us at 11. Remember how well that worked for WSUN? Check back with us later.
Also,
maybe there'll be something.
Make sure we're streaming.
Right. Are we streaming?
We are now.
Oh. WQAM, hello.
Don't be a girly man. Vote for Bush.
WQAM, hello.
Hey, good afternoon, Neil. How are you?
Good evening.
Hey, I just got married. I'm getting ready to go on my honeymoon.
So
I
sorry.
filed for a absentee ballot along with my wife, and we still haven't received them. Been calling the election office all week. Busy. What do we do? Can we go vote early, or will that give us a problem?
Of course you can go vote early, sure.
Even though we applied for the absentee
It doesn't make any difference. I mean, if you can't send in the absentee ballot and vote early, unless it's dumber than I think they are. But no, just go vote early.
You got it, Pally. Thanks for your advice.
Don't wait. Don't count on those ballots showing up, man. They got ballots sitting in dumpsters under people's refrigerators. Just go and do it, please, and
I
vote
don't think
too.
it has anything to do with the fact that we're both registered Democrats.
No, that must only be a coincidence. You know what I'm saying?
Have a great day, pal.
Good luck, Pally. Okay, you'll regret it. Trust me. 5670560, pound 560 on the Verizon or Singular Wireless line. In fact, don't trust me. Ask George. He'll tell you. You'll regret it badly. You'll wish you'd never been born. But anyway, that's another story. WQAM, hello.
I'm the voice of the Panthers.
Very weak, Geldy.
Oh.
Yeah, by the way, we see you like you're penciled in for 7 o'clock tonight, okay? So just give it a rest for a while. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Neil, I know you haven't really constructed a poll today, but my vote's for Bill Kamal.
That's it. That's the best call we ever had because, unbeknownst to him, Bill Kamal is on the poll today. This guy's better than Mickey Great Dane, you know it? Woo! What a psychic power. Yeah, we'll just take calls every day. So I think we solved the problem today.
Sure.
Every day from like 10:15 or 10:30 or 10:45 or 10:57:20 or whenever Stern gets done. By the way, do we want to talk? Well, we'll save it for later. See, I don't want to spoil any of the material.
Right. We're not going to do anything.
To say this and say that.
No, don't say nothing.
No, till 11 o'clock. We're just taking a lot of great calls. WQAM, hello.
Neil, God.
Yes, sir, speaking.
Hey, were you talking about that website that has the thing on the Pentagon on the Internet yesterday or the day before?
That has the thing on the Pentagon on the Internet.
Yeah, one of those days we were talking about it.
Yes.
It's like an Internet movie about...
Right. It's on our website.
Like, what the hell hit the Pentagon? That is one of the heaviest, dutiest...
Yeah, the Schmidt hit the Pentagon, but it wasn't that plane.
Man, that is a hell of a sight. I saw it. I've been showing it to everybody in my neighborhood.
Good.
I can't sending it around.
9/11 Pentagon strike. It's on our website, neilrogers.com. Everybody must watch it over and over again to show you that your government lies like crazy.
What the hell was that thing?
Yeah. Okay. There he goes.
They got it.
Hey, listen. That was the best one so far. Don't be knocking it. And I'm glad he reminded me about that. Everybody should be taking a puke at that. In fact, maybe somewhere in the bottom of the Pentagon, maybe they'll find those 380,000 tons of explosives. Maybe that's what blew up. You think?
Nothing.
Maybe that's what it was.
Just a couple of bottles.
WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I'm calling also regarding Bill Kamal. I'd like some straight answers.
Reverend Jones.
Yeah, okay. Well, you won't get anything straight from Miss Kamal, I'll tell you that. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil. Did you hear when Howard took on Michael Powell?
Did I hear it?
Yeah. Or you must have heard of it by now, right?
I read it yesterday.
Yeah, isn't that awesome?
Yesterday, what?
Isn't that awesome or what?
Well, what do you mean, is it awesome? I don't know what you mean by that. I mean, he gave him a piece of his mind, but it's not going to change anything. The only thing that's going to change anything is Howard going on to Sirius, and anybody with a brain, all of us getting off of commercial radio and getting out from under Michael Powell's armpit.
Yeah, that's definitely, but when are you going to defend freedom of speech?
What am I going to what?
When are you going to defend freedom of speech?
What am I going to defend it by doing what? By making a phone call on another talk show? Get lost, loser. When am I going to defend freedom of speech? What does that mean? And I don't see Infinity suing the FCC, which that was about the only point Michael Powell had that was correct. This business about, they can't sue them. Sure they can. They could sue them anytime they wanted. They could take it. They know that if they go to the Supreme Court, they're going to have the same 5 right-wingers that handed the election to Bush. They haven't got a Chinaman's chance in hell. Plus, it's going to cost them millions and millions more in legal fees. So why waste the time and the money? When am I going to defend freedom of speech? I'll tell you what, as soon as I get off commercial radio, that's when I'll defend freedom of speech. Schmuck. What a jackass. What a spaz hole. WQAM, hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Talking to Neil?
Speaking.
Neil.
Yeah, you can do it. Come on. Yeah, he couldn't do it. See, I was wrong. He couldn't do it. WQAM, hello.
Hi, good morning, Neil.
Good afternoon.
That's you. And I just wanted to tell your listeners out there, I am serving as, whether it's fortunate or unfortunate, I beginning to think it's fortunate, as one of the international election observers here in Broward County on November 2nd.
Oh, my gosh.
Exactly. There are going to be 3,000 of us around the nation and over 600 in Florida alone. And the saddest part is that every one of us are going to be having cell phones that are going to have pre-programmed to 3 numbers. One, of course, is going to be back to the headquarters, the Carter Center. The second is to the FDLE. And the third is to the FBI in case, God forbid, which we know is going to happen anyhow, that we observe wrongdoing at the polls. I had never thought that a program that was going to be set up, which it originally was by Jimmy Carter for third world countries, would be here in the United States.
That is correct. That's the most important point, is that third world countries are the ones that have to have their elections monitored because we can't trust the integrity of the election officials and of the parties, political parties. And now here we're doing it in the USA because we've got nothing but a bunch of crooks all the way around.
Exactly. And then on Tuesday night, I'm going to be at the Broward Supervisor of Election Office being one of the observers. And you would think that because she is a Democrat, which Brenda Snipes is, we wouldn't be having problems. But guess what? The absentee ballots aren't coming in. They're not being mailed out. It's like an amateur hour here in Florida, and it's really
that is
horrible.
Correct. Right. I think we better have Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, I would rather have him. I think we could probably get it right.
In fact, let's get Brenda Lee and Wesley Snipes and get the two of them together. They sure do better than Brenda. She's just nothing but another Miriam Elephant all over again.
No, absolutely she is. She's a more educated one. That's about it.
Well, do a good job, Pally, and don't forget, throw a lot of them Bush votes out, please.
And everybody, please vote early and vote often.
Okay, thanks. Good luck. You'll need it. You notice how he just ignored that? But I think he got the message. Throw a bunch of Bush votes out, please. 19 before 11 at 560 WQAM. It's always a great time to call 1-800-MATTRESS. Now's an even better time. Dollar Mattress is slashing prices on Serta mattresses. Call 1-800-MATTRESS now and save an additional 20% off their super low factory direct prices on top quality Serta Perfect Sleepers only at Dollar Mattress. When you call 1-800-MATTRESS, you'll get same-day delivery all across South Florida. You pick the date and time for delivery to fit your schedule. Dollar Mattress is proud of their on-time 99.7% of the time record, and Dollar Mattress continues to be ranked number one in the world in customer satisfaction. They were winners of the 2004 Better Business Bureau Local Torch of Excellence Award. All the smart folks and even some of the dimwits are calling 1-800-MATTRESS for their beds because it doesn't take a genius to figure out. It sure beats wasting all your time, money, and gas, schlepping to your bedding in department stores and getting ripped off. Get yourself a great night's sleep tonight and for years to come on a Serta Perfect Sleeper from Dollar Mattress and save a ton of cash and grief. Log on to their website, mattress.com, or just pick up that instrument right now and stick your finger in it. 1-800-MATTRESS, 1-800-MATTRES.
The Howard Stern Show. Neil Rogers, mornings and midday. And sports around the clock. 560 QAM.
You got.
Freedom's dead, let's bury our heads. Freedom's dead, let's bury our heads. This is the biggest crap I've ever seen. Talk show hosts are fine when it's the government that's obscene. Freedom's dead, let's bury our heads.
Rectum.
Freedom's dead, let's bury our heads.
Yeah, Neil, when are you going to pull off a great publicity stunt? I'm calling on a talk show where Michael Powell is on, huh? When are you going to defend
change
freedom of
the
speech?
world.
That's right, and change the world by making a phone call and getting on CNN again and getting the... You know, it's just amazing how some of these people... But that's the American public for you, baby, a bunch of sheep. Anyway, here's a fax from Elmer who says, I think you and your audience may appreciate the new music video, Mosh by Eminem.
Made the news.
I beg your pardon?
It made the news all this morning.
I didn't see it. Is that like the Monster Mosh?
No better.
I pasted a link at the bottom of this fax. It says, I know you don't care for this guy's music that much as neither I do, to say the very least. The video is a scathing critique of our commander-in-chief. Maybe you can post it on your site. There's no doubt it's only a matter of time before it gets taken off the air. Just pursue it, misspelled if you have a chance. Come on, Elmer, get an education, okay? P.S. Mo still sucks.
Absolutely.
Is what he says. So maybe we'll want to put a link to it on our... Is it that good?
I haven't seen the video. I only saw the news reports about the video, and indeed it rips Bush and Nass.
And speaking of fighting the FCC, we would never play this again.
How come you don't play any FCC songs?
After 11 o'clock. This is from only 18 years ago on INZ.
Tacos, what are we gonna do? I say, tacos, we are all being screwed. I say, listen, why is this happening to us? We want the FCC to get off our butts. Tacos, there's no place for us now. Even DJs are all down in the mouth. You can listen, but now you won't find any words that will corrupt your mind. No fun to be censored by the FCC. No fun to be censored by the FCC. There'll be nothing left for us to enjoy. We'll soon be playing with children's toys. No fun to be censored by the FCC. No fun to be censored by the FCC. They want us to be clean. They think they know what we should feel. They try to dictate to us what is real. Young and old, please listen to us. I say, young and old, please don't put up a fuss. Help us petition the FCC, but you must help us with one thing. Neil Rogers can't do it all by himself. Let's all help him. Don't put it up on the shelf. Let the FCC know just how you feel, and maybe we'll get this unjust law repealed. FCC, what are you doing to us? FCC, what are you doing to us? Our ratings won't fly. In fact, they might die because of the FCC. You want to ban what we can do. FCC, you ban what we can say. You've even tried to ban the records that the DJs play. People, I am talking to you. I said people. Let's stand and fight for what's true. Send your letter into so far so we can tell the FCC what Neanderthals they are. Neil Rogers and so far are on your side. People, we have nothing to hide, young and old. Get your opinions out and maybe the FCC will stay out. FCC, in the morning now, FCC, in the evening now, no one knows what words drive them insane. We all have the FCC to blame. FCC, go away. FCC, get off our backs. FCC, let us live our lives for real.
Don't go away mad, just
go away.
Hey, how come you can't be more like that guy that did that Save Our First Amendment Rights campaign all those
Oh, that
years
was
ago?
me, yeah. I can't be more like
that
Oh,
fag.
God.
Right, that fag. Yeah, that's ancient history, okay? And you're like spitting into a windstorm, okay? You're farting into a tunnel. Just, if you want to get a lot of publicity from it, that's fine, which we didn't get, and we sure didn't get a lot of help from anybody else in the industry, but that's okay. Because it's America where censorship is, that's what it's all about. You can't say crap, and pretty soon if Bush gets in again, you won't even be able to take one, especially if it smells the wrong aroma, the wrong flavor. 5670560. I'll tell you one thing. Can she sing or what?
No.
Whoever that bitch was. Boy, that was something.
She gets an
Line
A for
9
effort.
better get on before 10 or 11 o'clock. WQAM, hello. QAM.
Yeah, are you taking calls tomorrow?
Are we taking calls tomorrow?
Yeah.
You making plans for tomorrow? Yeah, call me around 10:45, okay?
9:45.
Okay. Hey, I got an idea. Let's make appointments for when people can call in, because a lot of these people are very busy, especially with the early voting and everything, you know?
I'll go get the ledger.
Right. WQAM, hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Top of the morning there to you, Pally.
And back to you, Pally.
It's with tremendous pride that I'm able to say that I voted early and I voted for our guy, Kerry.
Oh! All right.
Yeah. And, just to put a few things in perspective, after I voted, I went over to their campaign headquarters there in beautiful Delray Beach and picked up a couple signs for my lawn.
Right.
And probably planned those that afternoon when I got home. Got up the next morning, somebody drove up on the lawn and ran the signs over.
I'll be damned. Well, it's a good thing they didn't burn your house down. That's next.
I think that just kind of speaks volumes for the mentality of those people out there that think that maybe Bush ought to be in there for another 4 years.
Well, you dasn't be putting no carry signs up, mister, because you're un-American, unpatriotic, and whatever else. And probably a draft dodger, too.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's also, Neil, I just want to say thanks to everybody out there that is in the, can hear my voice, whatever. Do whatever you can. I volunteered for this weekend to do whatever I can to help with the phone banks, tote some signs at some street corners, whatever. Just get out there. Tell your friends to get out there. Do whatever you can. You know, it's in our best interest to see to it that that bonehead is ousted come November 2nd.
Amen. Bye-bye
All
to
right,
Bush.
there,
Okay,
buddy.
Pally, nice job. Do
Keep
it
up
again
the good
tomorrow,
work.
okay? We'll talk to you tomorrow at 11:32. 5670560. That's great. We're gonna book appointments for when you can call in on the show. In fact, we'll even give them their own private line. How do you like that? In other words, you can call that on line 3 at 12:14 tomorrow. That sounds good, huh? Yeah, it's a plan. WQAM, hello.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
hi.
God. Yes.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, you ought to be.
I'm sorry. Okay, I just wanted
What
to
do you
ask.
want? What is it?
I want to ask Neil 2 questions.
You're speaking to him,
Okay,
man.
Neil,
Oh,
I'm
God.
sorry.
Haven't they put you away yet?
Oh, God. Listen, 2 questions.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, the first, I wanted to
What do they do? Let you out only on Wednesdays or what?
Oh, God. Neil, listen, just 2 things, okay?
God.
The guy last week that called in, his name, he said, everybody Google Stanley Hilton. And I did that, okay? And I thought it was everybody should do this. Google Stanley Hilton.
Google Stanley Hilton, yeah.
You just read it. I mean, read the interview. Everybody should read it.
Well, what's the upshot? What is it all about?
He's saying that basically Bush was not just implicated in 9/11, that he actually engineered it.
Really?
It's radical, okay? But everybody should read this, or just do it.
And you think Bush was smart enough to engineer 9/11? With Vanguard Bush? Maybe it was Vanguard Bush he's talking about.
Okay, somebody did that, Shaney, somebody.
This is the Neil Rogers Show. This is your brain. Any questions?
We're about 10 years too late. Yeah, back when things were great. Clinton was president. OJ was innocent. But we could still see friends. And Beavis and Butthead barely had an internet. And there was no spam yet. Never heard about Bin Laden. Wall Street was always in the black. We still care about Madonna. And not about sneak attacks. And all that great music. Yeah, you could take your pick. Like it was sent from God. No cell phones, no ringtones, no iPods played Oasis or Hootie. That Brandy was a cutie. There was Alanis Morissette and Julia split from Lila. That the Pumpkins were smashing. The Beatles tried to cash in, but nothing quite feels right since 1995. 1995. You know Mariah and Whitney, they beat the pants off Britney. We still had some geezers, but also there was Weezer, and we had Sophie B. Hawkins. Yeah, she was good for gawking. I wonder if she survived past 1995.
It's 11 o'clock at 560 WQM. Happy Wednesday to you. And now we start the show officially. I like that. That worked out really well, didn't it?
Sure. Piece of cake.
We had a whole half hour there. We also got the FCC song in, which what's to like about that? In fact, I'm so inspired by the ditzy lady that just called. I actually printed out a column. William Rivers Pitt, which I read his stuff all the time, from truthout.org.
Right.
Well, June 20th, 2002, he's got an article all along the Watchtower. That's his column about Stanley Hilton and about the lawsuit and about all these things. So I'm going to actually read that.
Great. By the way, that was not
that?
the ditzy lady. That was just a ditzy lady.
I didn't say the with a capital T. That was the with a small t, as opposed to the official ditzy lady.
Oh.
But you know this one.
Yes.
She's a little, she's okay. She means well. She's a little hysterical. Anyway, our poll from yesterday, let's get things in order here, okay? Let's get things organized. Can we say organ? Oh, sorry, Joyce. Let's get things organized. How sure are you that your vote is going to count next Tuesday, huh? Or any time? 2,153 votes. Somewhat sure, 607. Have serious doubts, 494.
About 30, man.
371. 100% sure, 322. Well, good for you. Don't know, 237. I can't vote, 54. I don't give a Schmidt, 43. And I won't vote, only 25. Now, Beaded curtain today. Fine picture, too. I must tip my hat to you.
Aye.
Anna Falchi. And most people are probably saying,
who?
What? You think most people know who she is?
No.
No. You'll like knowing who she is. Behind the beaded curtain when John Ashcroft isn't looking, just keep your eye on his eyes, okay? And when he looks away for a second, that's the time to take a peek at it. And the picture, too. April 22nd, 1972, Anna was born in Tampere, Finland. Which I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that right, because there ain't no that's... Well, she was born in Finland. Anyway, she made her debut in a TV commercial for an Italian bank starring Paolo Villaggio. And her filmography goes on with a whole bunch of Italian stuff. Operazione Rosmarino, Occhi dell'Amore, Principessa e il Povero, Giovanni e Belli. How's what Enrico Belli doing?
Who?
Celluloide, Paula de Neve. and a whole bunch of other Italian stuff, which I'm just reading it just to practice my Italiano, which isn't very good. Miracolo Italiano, della morte dell'amore, and the things like that. Nel continente nero. So there she is, Anna Falchi. She is flawless, and she'll be on their way to a sweep. Of course, keep in mind that they were down 3-0 to the Yankees, and all of a sudden they did the old big turnaround, you know, that flip-flop, that famous New England flip-flop. So as a result of that, speaking of that,
of making
there's our man.
excuses
Oh, you
and
shut
not
up, honey.
taking responsibility
We
for
want
what
to hear
happened.
Scary John Kerry.
And a higher tax burden.
See, they put him on for like 3 seconds.
Who is becoming the chief minister of disinformation.
You go, John.
He echoed that it's not the administration's fault, and he even criticized those who raised the subject. Now, my friends, my fellow Americans, this is a growing scandal, and the American people deserve a full and honest explanation of how it happened and what the president is going to do about it.
Now, there are risks for...
Yeah. And then at Lou Dobbs, that Nazi in drag who pretends to be something else with all his stories about outsourcing of jobs, he's really crumbling under the pressure now with just a few days left. Last night on CNN, the main thrust of the hour, in which he was castigating former UN inspectors, was, would it be fair for the New York Times and CBS to run this story on the eve of the election, which is what they were going to do, October 31 or whatever, and blew it right up in his face, because on the CNN poll, when I checked, there was like 77% of the people said yes, only 23% said no. And why should it be on there? It's a news story, you jackass. A major news story. Anyway, here's our poll today. Which of these is most interesting to you? Most interesting, okay? Not necessarily most importante, right, but most interesting. I've got 3, 6, 9. Recuperating Clinton on Stump for Kerry. Humiliating Ashley Simpson lip sync on SNL. Tons of vanished weapons in Iraq. Red Sox may be world champs. They're just a win away. Dolphins finally win one. The Patriots win their 21st in a row. Oh! The NHL lockout. Anybody know about that?
No.
Shortage of flu vaccine, or Bill Kamal busted and fired it at Channel 7. That's a good list of stuff, you know what?
Damn straight.
I didn't even put on Scott and Lacey Peterson because anybody cares about that is not allowed to listen to this show. I mean, if you really care, get serious. When the hell is that thing going to end already?
When
God.
it's over.
What?
When they let him loose.
Which of these is most interesting to you? Recuperating Clinton on the stump for Kerry, humiliating Ashley Simpson lip syncs on SNL, tons of vanished weapons in Iraq, Red Sox may be world champs, Dolphins finally win one, the Patriots win their 21st in a row, the NHL lockout, shortage of flu vaccine, or Miss Abil Kamal busted and fired? An excellent list if you ask me. I don't even know what I'm going to vote for when you come right down to it. Maybe Miss Kamal, because everybody else is voting for that one, right? See, the deal is, most of the time, most people would even remember who the hell Miss Kamal was, Weather Fairy Jr., who pales, behind the shadow of Miss Norcross. But because we just had all them hurricanes, and because most of us were housebound, and I was even lucky enough to be there for that one, unlucky, and watching hours and hours and hours, I mean, there was nothing else to see, of all these weather fairies on there, and there was Miss Kamal on there. And you know something? I think maybe God is meting out a little justice here, you know?
You think? It's karma?
I think so. No, this is what you get when you get everybody whipped up into a frenzy and hyperventilating and stuff like that, and then you have to pay your comeuppance, you know? Because the Lord works in mysterious ways.
Deal, God!
That is correct. He's pissed off and fired up about the whole deal. So Miss Kamala's got Cirrus and out on the beach. Well, it's 11:07 at 560 WQAM. It's the end of the month, and now's the time to save like never before at Armstrong Ford of Homestead, where they have to clear out all remaining 04s on the lot to make room for those 2005s. You'll save like never before on all remaining 04s in stock, ready for immediate, if not sooner, delivery. And all the 05s are in and ready to roll out. Plus, for a limited time, they'll offer you 0% financing on any of the following: Explorers, Escapes, Focuses, Tauruses, and Mustangs. Certain restrictions apply. The lots at Armstrong Ford of Homestead are jammed with more 05s arriving every day. They're cutting prices now. You're going to save gigantic tons of cash. Armstrong Ford offers more value to you, too, because when you buy your Ford there, you'll get their exclusive Tires and Batteries for Life program. That is absolutely correct. Tires and Batteries for Life. So if you've been wanting a new car, but you've been putting it off, wait no more. David Rich and the staff at Armstrong Ford of Homestead will guarantee you the best price. And don't forget, Armstrong Ford of Homestead is locally owned and operated. They treat you just like family. No games, no BS. You won't get a better deal anywhere in town. No bait and switch, no phony deals. Armstrong Ford of Homestead, 30725 South Dixie Highway, just 20 minutes south of the 836. Check them on the web, armstrongcars.com, and then drive a little and save thousands and thousands and zillions on that new Ford at Armstrong Ford of Homestead.
You're listening to Neil Rogers exclusively on 560 QAM.
I used to eat Krispy Kreme donuts like they were good for me. The doctor told me that all the needless sugar and fat I got from eating a dozen every day might be why I weigh 400 pounds. I got to stop talking to get my oxygen mask back on.
At Krispy Kreme Donuts, we've noticed that fewer of you are coming through our doors to stuff your faces with our cholesterol-dipped, sugar-infused wake-up treats. At first, we thought it was simply because many of you are just too fat to get through our front doors anymore. Then we heard about low-carb diets. Can you imagine how hurt everyone at Krispy Kreme was when we heard that you, our customers, were turning your back on us simply because of your health?
Yeah, you're right. I feel so guilty.
That's why we're trying to lure you ingrates back through our newly widened doors with our all-new Krispy Kreme crumbs. Krispy Kreme crumbs are much smaller. Crumbs, actually, so you have to eat a bunch of them to equal one full donut. And our nutritionists here at Krispy Kreme say that means they're almost like diet food.
Yeah, I'll take a dozen. Bags.
Krispy Kreme crumbs. We use a K to spell each of those three words. So how smart can we be anyway?
Listen. That's another one for the audience. 11:13 at 560, yes?
We watched the
WQAM
M&M video, Josh and I, during the break, and we think that it's link-worthy, and you might actually like it.
Is it worthy?
It is.
It is worthy.
It's
well, I'm
strong.
getting on there.
It's powerful.
All right. Then we'll have a link to the M&M video on there. It'll be another reason to go on neilrogers.com. And William Rivers Pit Road, June 20th, 2002, which was a Thursday, no less. You don't have to look it up. Oh, before we do that, WQAM.
Hey, Neil, what's up?
How you doing?
Hey, why don't you start fighting for freedom of speech already? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, I'm so pumped up today. I'm 21 years old. I'm on my way to vote for the first time.
All right.
Last election I couldn't, and it's going to happen come Tuesday. We're going to get it done.
I think so, man. They're showing out, and they're like rolling all over each other. There's so many people showing up.
That's it. It's going to be great. All right, Neil, take it easy.
Okay, listen, call me next Thursday, 11:17 in the morning. Okay, you got a date?
Absolutely.
Okay, see ya. What are you laughing about? I'm making appointments for people to call now. This is a whole new format, man. We got to figure that. Listen, if anybody wants to fact, LIHOP stands for Let It Happen on Purpose. The LIHOP theory puts forward the accusation that Bush and his people allowed the September 11th attacks to take place despite the fact they'd been repeatedly warned of an impending strike. The LIHOP theory is straightforward. In the months before 9/11, American intelligence agencies received ominous warnings from the intelligence services of nations like Israel, Russia, Egypt, and Germany. These warnings were pointed. An attack involving hijacked aircraft and prominent American landmarks was imminent, our security forces were told. Bush himself was briefed of these warnings weeks before they happened. Instead of responding vigorously to these warnings, the Bush administration and its security apparatus did nothing. LIHOP is, of course, the purest breed of conspiracy theory involving high-ranking members of government from both parties, as well as the CIA, the FBI, and the NSA. Like all good conspiracy theories, LIHOP is surrounded by disturbing facts and bits of evidence that are difficult to ignore. The warnings from all those foreign intelligence services, after all, are quite real. Egypt, Germany, Russia, and the Israelis were vociferous in their concerns. The German intelligence service BND told the U.S. and Israeli intelligence that Middle East terrorists were planning to attack commercial aircraft to use as weapons to attack important symbols of American and Israeli culture. The BND's information came through Echelon, the American-controlled network of 120 satellites that monitors all worldwide electronic communications. Egypt voiced similar warnings that same month regarding aircraft attacks delivered just before the G8 summit in Genoa. Egypt's alert carried such weight that anti-aircraft batteries were placed around Columbus Airport in Italy. The Russians warned the U.S. that the same summer of 25 pilots who had been trained for suicide missions, and Putin himself delivered the warning in the strongest possible terms to the U.S. government. The Israeli intelligence service Mossad delivered a warning to both the FBI and the CIA detailing a major assault on the U.S. against a large-scale target that was very vulnerable. The Washington Post has reported that the NSA intercepted 2 messages on September 10, 2001, warning that something was going to happen the next day. Tomorrow is 0 hour was one of the messages. The NSA's charter is to intercept, translate, and pass on to FBI and CIA operatives important electronic signals from all across the globe. The Echelon satellite network, which provided the German BND with their 9/11 information last June, is part of that system. According to the NSA, the September 10th data was not translated until September 12th, but it stands to reason they were privy to the same electronic data the other foreign services were using as the basis for their warnings. One U.S. intelligence source claims that it provided no actionable intelligence, a fair claim given the vagueness of the messages and the volume of material NSA must deal with, yet in combination with the strident foreign intelligence warnings, the words intercepted by our large electronic ears on September 10th add to the growing questions. Then there are the threads. A FEMA official told Dan Rather that the disaster agency had been at the World Trade Center on September 10th. Why? Governor Jeb Bush of Florida signed Executive Order number 01261 on September 7th, putting his state's National Guard on heightened alert status, essentially placing Florida under martial law for no demonstrable reason. Why? Attorney General John Ashcroft stopped flying on commercial aircraft in the weeks before 9/11, something he had commonly done since his entry into the administration. Why? At the core of the LIHOP theory lies motivation. What possible purpose could be served by the Bush administration allowing a terrorist attack to take place on American soil? It is flatly inconceivable to most Americans that Bush and his people could demonstrate such callous disregard for American lives, and accusations that they allowed an attack to happen reek of the worst kind of poisonous partisan politics. LIHOP theory, however, is not so easily dismissed. Two French intelligence analysts, Jean-Charles Brissard and Guillaume Dasky, have published an extensively researched book entitled Osama bin Laden, The Forbidden Truth. In it, they allege that the Bush administration put energy policy before national security concerns. According to Brissard and Dasky, a foundering pipeline project aimed at exploiting natural gas reserves along the Caspian Sea in Turkmenistan was revived by the Bush administration when it arrived in Washington in January of 2001. The pipeline project, which sought to bring oil and natural gas from Turkmenistan through Afghanistan to a warm water port, had been the brainchild of American petroleum giant Unocal for much of the 1990s. Huh? Unocal. Oh, that's not where Alawi came from, is it? And Hamid Karzai?
Yes.
After the destruction of two American embassies in Africa in 1998 by Osama bin Laden, the Clinton administration forbade any American companies from doing business with the Taliban, which had been sheltering bin Laden in Afghanistan. Unocal's pipeline project was frozen. After the Bush administration came to power, Brissard and Dasky alleged that reinvigorating the pipeline project became a high-priority matter of policy. Assistant Secretary of State Christina Raqqa was dispatched to Pakistan to discuss the pipeline with Taliban officials in August of 2001. Raqqa, a career officer with the CIA, had been deeply involved in agency activities within Afghanistan. According to documents Brissard and Dasky claimed to hold, the main subject of their discussion was oil. A Pakistani foreign minister was also present at the meeting and witnessed the exchange. How does this pipeline relate to September 11th? According to Brissard and Dasky, the main obstacle to the completion of the pipeline was the fact that it had to pass through Taliban-controlled Afghanistan. The project would receive no international support unless the Afghan government somehow became legitimized. In bargaining for the pipeline, the Bush administration demanded that the Taliban reinstate deposed King Mohammed Zahir Shah as ruler of Afghanistan and demanded that the Taliban hand over Osama bin Laden for arrest. In return, the Taliban would reap untold billions in profit from the pipeline. According to Brissard and Dasky, part of the Bush administration's bargaining tactics involved threats of war if these conditions for the legitimation of Afghanistan were not met. The BBC of London reported on September 18, 2001, of the existence of war plans on Bush's desk aimed at Afghanistan. Niaz Naik, a former Pakistan foreign secretary, stated that the war plans were slated for October 2001. Conditions set by the Bush administration to avoid war involved the Taliban's handing over of bin Laden and the acceptance of King Shah. Naik went so far as to doubt that America would hold off on war even if these conditions were met. The reason? The Bush administration very much wanted the Unocal pipeline to go through and put intense pressure on the Taliban to see it happen. As this was happening, American intelligence services were flooded with warnings of an impending attack on American targets by bin Laden and al-Qaeda. The decision was made, let the attack come, and in the ensuing outrage, American forces can carve out the guts of the Taliban government like a ripe gourd, replacing them with a legitimate regime more receptive to the pipeline plan. Did the Bush administration have an inkling of the massive death and destruction that would come on September 11th? Those who espouse the LIHOP theory disagree on this point. Some believe, hang on one second, because I have an interloper coming into my apartment right now, even though I have the Do Not Disturb sign on the door.
Okay. That's very interesting.
Sorry, I have to come back at 2.
That'd freak me out. Home invasion.
Yeah.
Maybe
No, it's
kill
delayed,
it.
and I've got a thing I put on the door every week. I come back at 2, but she obviously no speak in English. You know how that goes. Anyway. Oh, that's right. You wouldn't know. You're in Miami. Did the Bush administration have an inkling of the massive death and destruction that would come on September 11th? Those who espouse the LIHOP theory disagree on this point. Some believe that FEMA's presence at Ground Zero on the day before the attack, coupled with specific language within the international intelligence warnings pertaining to aircraft and high-profile targets, are prima facie evidence of specific prior knowledge. Others believe that the Bush administration only knew vaguely that an attack would come, but not where or when. They did not foresee the level of destruction and were caught flat-footed when those planes appeared along the New York skyline. In the end, LIHOP theory can encompass either view, whether they had specific knowledge beforehand or merely decided to let some attack happen somewhere. The final results were the same. The Taliban were routed and replaced by an interim government headed by a man named Hamid Karzai. Karzai was recently elected president of Afghanistan in his own right, legitimizing the Afghan government. Soon after this, Karzai announced the impending construction of a pipeline that would exploit Turkmenistan's natural gas reserves. He names Unocal as the lead company for the project. Before becoming president, Karzai, of course, was an advisor to Unocal. You guessed it. For LIHOP theorists, the evidence is clear. The Bush administration got the pipeline it wanted. Along the way, they used the horrors of 9/11 to place themselves above reproach. It was in the patriotic fervor that resulted from the attacks. Both the press and the Democratic opposition were bracketed by the administration's espoused idea that any questions or criticism were tantamount to treason. The passage of the Patriot Anti-Terror Act has given the U.S. government sweeping abilities to snuff dissent by defining it as terrorism, thanks to the loosely defined wording of the bill. Bush enjoyed stratospheric approval ratings that persist to this day. This was as of June of 2002. And American citizens were given new enemies to hate. The Defense Department and the weapons contractors who cater to them received billions from the federal budget to do with as they pleased in order to address the objects of that hate. Even the most hardened political observers must admit the dismal truth. September 11th was the greatest thing ever to happen to the Bush administration. Attorney Stanley Hilton has brought LIHOP theory into the federal court system with his class action suit and with the families of 9/11 victims he represents. It'll be interesting to see what transpires when these two facts collide in an American courtroom. Given the current climate, it doesn't seem likely that much will come of it. After all, these conspiracy theorists are just a bunch of nuts. Right?
Right.
That's what he says. Right? Williams of Rivers, Pitts. No kin to Elijah Pitts or Freddie Pitts. How come I always go through that whole routine?
I don't
It's
know.
the Pitts. Anyway,
is
here's how our poll is coming so far. Which of these is most interesting to you? And we got a battle going on here, baby. And I knew we would. Tons of vanished weapons in Iraq, 69. Bill Kamal, busted and fired it, 55. He's right on those weapons' ass.
Busted.
He's right on their ass. Recuperating Clinton on the stump for Kerry, 25. Red Sox maybe world's champs, 18. Humiliating Ashley Simpson, lip sync on SNL, 12. Dolphins finally win one, 7. Dolphins finally won one.
All right.
Shortage of flu vaccine, 4. The NHL lockout, 4. I'm shocked by that. And Patriots win their 21st in a row, only 3.
Oh!
Well, too bad you're jealous. 26 after 11 at 560 WQA. And Pompano Park Racing and Poker is open now 3 nights a week. Every Wednesday, like tonight, Friday and Saturday. With live harness racing action and a great card room, too. Live racing starts at 7:25 in the p.m. every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. And the poker room is open from noon till midnight with tournament action every live day. Plus, Pompano Park is open every day of your life, 7 days a week with harness racing, highlight, thoroughbred simulcasting, starting information or that new racing schedule. Just check them on the web, pompanopark.com, or call 954-972-2000. Don't forget, live racing now 3 nights a week, Wednesday like tonight, Friday and Saturday at Pompano Park.
You're listening to Neil Rogers. Correct. On 560 QAM.
Who's going to give Ricky a blow?
Are you ready for some football? Then tune in to ESPN Gay.
And he hits the hole right after Jesse opens it up.
Oh, yeah. ESPN Gay. Like to pack that guy around, too. Cowboys, Bears, Vikings, Packers. You'll get them all on ESPN Gay.
He's going to fire into his guy right here.
Feel the sweat.
You push.
Smell the passion.
He just rode him backwards.
You put him right on his back.
This ain't some makeover show on Bravo. It's the NFL on ESPN Gay.
And then everyone's kind of slopping around down there and grunting.
Where there's never a wardrobe malfunction.
Whoop. I don't know where that one came from.
Sundays will never be the same.
That looked like it was the last shot out of the Roman candle.
Call your cable operator now and demand ESPN Gay.
Look at that big old meat lump. Oh, what a meal those guys are having.
Look good.
ESPN Gay. Now that's a mouthful.
11:32, 28 till noon at 5:60. Here's a great fax from JW. Says, I'd like to book Friday at 11:35 on line 9. You got it, JW. You got it down in the ledger?
I did.
All right, it's booked. Also, he says, I voted early for Kerry. The line was long enough in English, so I voted in Espanol, even though no pique. It took about 5 minutes. Please play some Pharrell stuff. I still miss his show. How do you like that? Well, do we have any, we got,
I'm gonna kick his ass and then I'll steal his toupee. I'll take your children. I'll sell them to some Haitians.
Yeah, that's enough. Anyway, so I guess he's out on the beach again, huh, boy? He sure got a star-crossed existence, you know?
Well, it's one of those things.
Well, that doesn't sound too, sympathetic. I thought he was your good pal.
My best friend.
I thought he was your good buddy.
Indeed.
No?
We're just fine.
Oh, no, I don't know if I can play this. Listen, I better not try it. No, I just can't take a chance, okay? I'll let other people fight with Michael Powell and the FCC. I'm too old for that. Oh, if they only knew, man. What a joke. Anyway, it says, P.S., how about some more Christina beaded curtain pics? For a second there, I thought it said beaded curtain pies. I'm not sure what kind of pie he's talking about. I think I got a pretty good idea.
The one that we posted was the one and only nip shot.
That was the only one?
The only one worth posting.
Well, that's your assignment now. George is scouring the universe now, and maybe somebody else out there has got some booby pictures, some booby traps, and God only knows what else of Christina. Although I must say that Anna Falchi, whatever her name is, Farty.
Felcher.
Anna Falchi, she's a hell of a lot hotter than Christina would ever dream of being.
Well, I mean, come on.
Well, isn't that the truth?
She's voluptuous.
She is flawless, I would say. That's a great way to describe it.
Scrumptious.
Flawless. There she is right there. She makes Christina look like stuff that I dropped in a bowl this morning, okay? In fact, even without her, Christina, in my opinion, she's just mousy looking, you know? Real mousy, but with a lot of makeup and with all the tricks that they do, they can make her look really hot, you know? She looks like crab, Christina. In fact, I think she and Carson Daly are the same person. No, look at that. Look at that Anna Falchi, man. I mean, what's not to like there? That is, if you're not hopping on that thing right away, at least a picture anyhow, for a start. Gregory in Coral Springs says, I just found out I missed the first, this is great. I missed the first half hour of your show today. What kind of crap is this? You said the show starts at 11. Now I found out that some people get it at 10:30. Well, you just don't have the right kind of radio, Greg. Who are these people? Are they special? Yes. How do I get on the preferred list of Neil fans? I've been listening to you for over 20 years and resent some Neely come lately getting more of you than me. Please put me on the preferred listener list. Hey, based on that last trend, it's a miracle we have any kind of listener list after that deal. Only right-wingers and rednecks, which is the same thing, and sports nerds got diaries in the month of September. How many diaries did actually get sent back?
About 30, man.
Because of the hurricanes and all of this stuff. It was just a totally bogus month, which isn't rationalization, but anybody with a brain knows that Howard Stern didn't have a 1.3 share in men in the 9 o'clock hour. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And they also know that Party Radio didn't make this phenomenal comeback, like allegedly it's number 1 in the afternoon. Anybody with a brain knows that.
That's my opinion. I'm like Disney.
They know that Party Radio is dead as a doornail with the same 6 records, Darude and whatever they're playing.
That's my opinion. I'm like Disney.
All right, we got it. And anybody also with a brain knows that there are no heterosexual males under the age of 400 listening to Love 94. So it was just all a pile of duty is what it was. Speaking of that, here's some good news. Kerry has lead in Dade, poll says. This is by Zogby International. Democratic presidential, again, this is in the Herald, so it might be true. John Kerry holds a comfortable lead among Dade County voters, much as former Vice President Al Gore did in 2000, the Herald poll says. The biggest exception, we say with great regret, in spite of rumors to the contrary, the biggest exception is the Cuban-American vote, which still overwhelmingly favors Bush. They just can't get it right there in Little Havana. They're still living in the past, even though now Castro says he's not going to take American dollars anymore. And we got this, he's gotten all pissed off and bent out of shape because of this new Bush hard line, so that people's relatives over there are going to have to suffer even more than they ever did before. But that's okay. They just can't stop with the Bush crap. The poll conducted for the Herald by Zogby International shows Kerry favored 54-41 in Dade, but among Cuban Americans, the voting bloc targeted by Democrats, nearly 79% say they backed Bush. If you talk strictly numbers, Kerry is in very good shape in Dade, Zogby said, but if you're talking about intensity, Miami is a testimonial in many ways to where we are as a country. High-intensity polarization. There's polarization in the organization. For the poll, 750 likely voters were called October 22nd through the 25th. Margin of error is plus or minus 3.6%. Zogby, whose company is in Utica, New York, where they drink UC, of course. Utica Club, UC. You ever hear those spots? Of course not, because you never lived in upstate New York. Utica Club, UC, and probably out of business. Said about 10% of the poll workers were fluent in Espanol. Dade County, the most highly populated county in this important swing state, has been the focus of a political battle, yada, 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 and this and that and all the other crap, and they're going to be able to fix it again. In Dade County in 2000, now let's look at these numbers, okay? Because right now it's Kerry 54 and Bush 41 overall in Dade. In 2000, it was 53 for Gore, 46 for Bush, so Kerry's doing 3 points better than Gore did right now, according to the poll. Among Cuban Americans, nearly 79% say they favor Bush. It also falls close to the total 4 years ago when just over 80% of Cuban Americans voted for it. So in other words, all this crap about, well, the Cubans have learned their lesson, they're pissed off at Bush, they're going to vote for Kerry. How many are we talking about?
About 30, man.
Right. Bush all the way, said Consuelo Villaverde, 74, a Cuban American woman who participated in the poll. He says what he means and means what he says. In other words,
Abu Ghraib.
Right. The other guy flaps in the wind like a sail. Mike Melnick, a Jewish voter from North Miami Beach, said he was planning to vote for Kerry because Bush didn't have a grasp of the complex issues that threaten the middle class. What an understatement that is. I don't think we could be in worse shape, Melnick said. Kerry understands the issues. He's addressing the issues important to the middle class. By the way, how about that low consumer confidence number yesterday, huh? Wow. Took a huge dump, the biggest dump in about 4,000 years in the month of September. The poll shows Jewish voters in Dade County supporting Kerry 82 to 15%. A larger margin than Cuban Americans supporting Bush. The only problem with that is if they're going to compare one to the other, there's a lot more Cubans in Dade County than there are Jews.
See.
Zogby said Bush had failed to make inroads with the Jewish vote. Bush campaign spokeswoman Mercy Viana Schlapp, she's no schlapper, man, said that Bush's message and his candidacy have strong support in Dade. Who cares what she says, or the Kerry guy. So there you go. Dade County so far, as the latest Zogby poll, 54% for Kerry, 41 for Bush. And if we'd stop letting them old Cubans vote, we'd be in a lot better shape. Now, in Broward, we got a mess again, like that guy who called in before. I'm glad he called in. It was an excellent point he made. I hope you people will stop and think about that, about how fraudulent your elections have become. When I was a kid 400 years ago, the election would take place, and if they were going to fix it, they'd do it behind closed doors, real quiet, and nobody had to know about it. Now, we got hanging chads, we got ballots being torn up, registrations being torn up, absentee ballots not being mailed out. I mean, God only knows the kind of crap they're doing. Because, sure, the Broward County Board of Supervisors election office pointed a finger at the U.S. Postal Service yesterday for nearly 60,000 missing absentee ballots, but took the blame for having a phone system that was being overwhelmed by calls from frustrated voters who are pissed up and fired off. While the post office denied responsibility for the missing ballots, Broward County commissioners, anxious to avoid another failed election, offered to send county employees to help with the phones. Dozens of employees could begin assisting the elections office. See, I don't even know if my vote's going to count. You know it?
Right.
My absentee ballot, I mean, it was mailed ages ago, days. I don't even know if it's going to count. Dozens of employees could begin assisting the elections office today to answer telephone calls and to process voters at the 14 early voting sites. What we're seeing is unprecedented, so if the supervisor of elections needs our help, we will help, County Mayor Eileen Lieberman said. It's a week to the election and voting is a basic right in our country. You go, Eileen. What a perspicacious observation on her freaking part. Just 6 days away from the general election, the Supervisor of Elections Office has fielded hundreds of complaints from people who have yet to receive their absentee ballot. They are pissed up and fired off. Countless more have been unable to get through the election office to complain or get their questions answered. I tried for the last week or so to call the elections orifice, and it's just busy continually, said Paula Zubotkin, 70, whose 4-week-old request for an absentee ballot's gone unanswered. I want to vote. Elections officials also said they launched an investigation and found that many of the missing ballots, 58,000 of them, were sent on October 7th and 8th. The problem, they say, this is something that's beyond our control, Deputy Supervisor of Elections Gisela Salas said. Post office officials say they're not at fault. We have employees that we assign to handle the absentee ballots that come in, said Enola Rice, spokeswoman for the Postal Service South Florida District. So all the absentee ballots that are received by the post office are processed and delivered immediately. In other words, probably the other 58,000 may just Schmidt canned or something.
How will we know it's succeeded? With that new democracy, I guess we'll know it's succeeded. When you see more Mickey D's.
McDonald's.
$14 to noon at 560 WQAM. So anyway, I'm in the middle of reading that story about a half an hour ago, and there's a tap at the door, which I ignore, of course, because I'm in the middle of reading the story on the air doing a radio show, and it's the silly-ass illegal alien maid again. Look under your chair there. You see him? 9 votes. Absentee ballots. They're all over the damn place. There's so many people voting. How do you like that? So we got ballots up the ass, baby, all over Florida.
Rectum.
All over the place. So have no fear. The election will be stolen fair and square, just like 4 years ago. Okay, Howard Stern got into a heated exchange with FCC Commission Chairman Michael Powell during a radio call-in show yesterday, with the shock jock saying the only reason Powell is in his position is because of his father, U.S. Secretary of State, the unctuous Colin Powell, who always gets left off the hook because he's light complected. They always let him off the hook. And, again, the other day they were showing those clips of him sitting there in front of Congress and in front of the UN, both clips, lying and lying and lying. We got the maps. They got all these chemical... Stern said a friend told him the commissioner was going to be on the show and decided to call because Powell consistently avoids me and avoids answering my questions. Does it make you nervous for you to talk to me? Stern asked. No, it does not, Powell replied. Moments later, Stern called Powell an enigma and said, you're the judge, you're the arbiter, you're the one who tells us what we can and can't say on the air. God, he didn't even look like Joyce. And yet I really don't even think you're qualified to be the head of the commission. Do you deny that your father got you this job? Stern asked. I would deny it exceedingly. Before Stern hung up, Powell told him, good to talk to you. Yeah, good to talk to you. Wow. So I guess lying runs in the Powell family, right?
It would seem.
And it goes on about Clear Channel paid this and this one paid that. Powell was appointed, by the way, to the FCC by President Clinton, proving that nobody is perfect, and promoted to chairman by President Bush, because Daddy, of course, is Secretary of State. And nobody don't like Daddy, or at least if they do, can't say it in public, because he's a light-complected dark guy. Now, I like the way that we get to take the calls in the, in fact, 10:30 would be a perfect time for Howard to say goodbye, which, of course, he'll say goodbye when he feels like it every day, but it worked out well today, you know what? Mm-hmm. Because then we can make a lot of appointments for people to call like at 10:41. Huh?
We'll fit them in.
Yeah, we'll give you a fit. Secret plans for the war in Iraq were passed to British Army chiefs by U.S. defense planners 5 months before the invasion was launched, a court-martial heard yesterday. This is in the Independent UK. You sure as hell aren't going to read it in your U.S. Weekly Reader. The revelation strengthens suspicions that Tony Blair gave his agreement to President George Bush to go to war, while the diplomatic efforts to force Saddam Hussein to comply with UN resolutions were continuing, while they were continuing with that dog and pony show for public consumption to make it look good. Alan Simpson, the leader of Labour, genuine, and showed that Claire Short was right to assert in her book, serialized in The Independent, that Mr. Blair had knowingly misled Parliament. The plans were revealed during the court-martial of Ian Blaymore, 23, from Leeds, who was charged with the manslaughter of a comrade while serving in Iraq. Sergeant John Nightingale, 32, a reservist from West Yorkshire, died after being shot in the chest September 23rd last year. The court at Catterick Garrison, North Yorkshire, heard that contingency plans were drawn up by Lieutenant Colonel Christopher Warren, staff officer at Land Command Salisbury, Wiltshire, who was responsible for operational training. Lieutenant Colonel Warren said U.S. planners had passed on dates for which the invasion was planned. The hearing was told that Army chiefs wanted the training for the Army to start at the beginning of December 2002. However, due to sensitivities, the training was delayed. Sensitivities in quotes. The court heard the training for the TA began 2 months late, and for the regular Army 1 month late. Lieutenant Colonel Warren was asked what the sensitivities were. He replied, because in December there was a world interest. If the UK had mobilized while all this was going on, that would have shown an intent before the political process had been allowed to run its course. The hearing was adjourned. How do you like that? Yep. So it's right. It was Rumsfeld War. It was cooked up by PNAC and all these lunatics, including your fat-ass Governor Jeb Bush, by the way, who's a prominent member of the Project for the New American Century. A bunch of neocon lunatics, and guess what? It's blown up in their face, and they're running around telling you that John Kerry is an armchair quarterback. All these draft dodgers, all these chicken hawks, all these guys who never held it higher than their waist, and a gun either. How's that poll coming? I'm getting whipped up about this damn crap. We only got 6 days to go, you know what? We can't afford another 4 more years of this crap. And you think freedom of speech is limited now, you ain't heard nothing yet. Which of these is most interesting to you, we ax? 367 votes. Tons of vanished weapons in Iraq, 146. Bill Kamal busted and fired at 87, a strong second for Miss Kamal. Recuperating Clinton on the stump for Kerry, 47. Red Sox may be world champs.
Won the election, said I'd like to know who count the vote, baby, count the vote over, count the vote, baby, count the vote over, count the vote. Ever since this presidential race began, I've often wondered who was going to win. So count up all the ballots and find out who's gotten more. Those old folks seem to have one thing in common. Looks like lots of them just gave their votes to Patrick Buchanan. Boy! So I'd like to know who won the election. Yes, I'd like to know who won the election. Count the vote, baby, count the vote over, count the vote, baby, count the vote over, count the vote. The final tabulation started coming in. Then I saw a news flash on Channel 10. Some angry people all together in a bunch. They said they were confused and didn't know which hole to punch. Those old folks seem to have one thing in common. Looks like lots of them just gave their votes to Patrick Buchanan. So I'd like to know who won the election. Said I'd like to know who won the election. Oh, I'd like to know who won the election. Yes, I'd like to know who won the election. Count the vote, baby, count the vote over, count the vote, baby, count the vote over, count the vote. How many for Bush? Count the vote. How many for Gore? Count the vote. How many for Bush? Count the vote. Are there any more?
I'll tell you one thing, if Bob Dolan won't make it a balanced budget, he's probably the most tight-fisted of the whole bunch, you know what?
Yeah.
12:03 at 560 WQAM. Happy Wednesday to you. We got the Mad Dog.
All right.
Who's still riding on cloud nine after that big Dolphin win on tonight. And Eddie K at 10. Here's a fax that says, please give more info on the article you read concerning days before 9/11. Is it on your website? Well, I'm sure it was once upon a time back in the day. The article is from June of 2002. It's written by William Rivers Pitt, P-I-T-T. Got it? P-I-T-T, as in it's the Pitts. If you want, you can just Google Stanley Hilton, because I just during the break read a whole bunch of other interesting articles about how they broke into his office and stole a bunch of files. He's a bad man because he told too much of the truth. I wonder how long he'll be walking around. Anyway, you can Google Stanley Hilton, do a search on that, or just go to truthout.org and do a search on William Rivers Pitt and some of his articles. This one is from June 2, 2002. Got it?
Got it.
Think they're going to do that?
No.
No, they're busy looking at Anna Falchi, and who can blame them when you come right down to it. And they're looking for a lot more information about Miss Kamal.
Right.
Miss Kamal and that evil cabal.
Well, they could go to busheslord.com for a few LARPs if they are not too busy.
Okay. Well, we got a busy week for them, though, between now and next Tuesday. And like the guy before was saying, Kerry and Bush, it's getting pretty ponderous, but you know what? Another 4 or 5 weeks when they're finished counting the votes, then we can move on to something else. Right?
Right.
Another 4 or 5 months when they're through counting them chads and all the court challenges, etc. Questions mount over failure to hit Zarqawi's camp. Here's something you ought to be thinking about if you're in your car right now on the way to vote and you're like sitting on the fence, or maybe even thinking of voting for the neocons again, for the right-wing cabal. As the toll of mayhem inspired by terrorist leader Abu Bush administration made a mistake months before the start of the war by stopping the military from attacking his camp in the northeastern part of that country. The Pentagon drew up detailed plans in June of 2002, giving the administration a series of options for a military strike on the camp Mr. Zarqawi was running then in remote northeastern Iraq, according to generals who were involved directly in planning the attack and several former White House staffers. They said the camp near the town of Kurmal was known to contain Mr. Zarqawi and his supporters, as well as al-Qaeda fighters, all of whom had fled from Afghanistan. Intelligence indicated the camp was training recruits and making poisons for attacks against the West. Senior Pentagon officials who were involved in planning the attack said that even by spring 2002, Mr. Zarqawi had been identified as a significant terrorist target, based in part on intelligence that the camp he earlier ran in Afghanistan had been attempting to make chemical weapons, and because he was known as the head of a group that was plotting and training for attacks against the West. He already was identified as the ringleader in several failed terrorist plots against Israeli and European targets. In addition, by late 2002, while the White House was still deliberating over attacking the camp, Mr. Zarqawi was known to have been behind the October 2002 assassination of a senior American diplomat in Amman, Jordan. But the raid on Mr. Zarqawi didn't take place. Months passed with no approval of the plan from the White House until word came down just weeks before March 19, 2003, start of the Iraq War, that Mr. Bush had rejected any strike on the camp until after an official outbreak of hostilities with Iraq. Ultimately, the camp was hit just after the invasion of Iraq began. Would have been bad timing, see, would have looked really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Would have messed up all their plans. Like Tessio said, messes up all my plans. Can't do it, Pally. So there you go. There's a little more insight as to why that guy's still running around being care about. Is Miss Kamal and that 14-year-old boy. Oh, he just wanted to be a father.
A forever father.
A father life. Forever father. He wanted to father him and mother him and brother him and nuzzle him. Who now knows what?
What do you mean?
Now, see, the people that I talk to who are obviously a little more in touch with the whole South Florida deal, nobody that I know is in the least bit surprised about that whole story. Some of you are very naive because you see people on television and think, I don't know what you think. He's on television. He's the weather fairy. I've been telling you he's the weather fairy for a long time. This is the one place where you heard it right here on his show. Well, just because he's gay doesn't make him a child molester, which, of course, that's all the more reason this is a grotesque story because it feeds that, popular misconception. Oh, all them faggots, they're pedophiles, maybe they're child molesters. They all want to hop in the sack with them 14-year-old little boys.
Not all of them, just the show business ones.
I see. That's what Josh Cordes said. 567-0560, pound 560 on the Verizon and Singular wireless lines. Yeah, maybe you can interpret for him when he has that conversation with your little buddy there. Hola. WQAM, hello.
This is Bill Kamal, loan me 50.
Yeah, okay, great. WQAM, hello.
Nearly.
Yes.
Hey, man, the lines are incredible.
Good.
At the polling. I mean,
excellent.
It's gonna be a landslide, man. I think they're really underestimating the black vote. I think they're really underestimating the youth vote. We're all going out there, man, and we're real pumped up.
What are we going to do about those old Cubans, though, man, in Dade County? What the hell are we going to do with them?
Shoot them in the leg.
He's a mind reader. It's a very psychic day.
Is it really? Everybody's
Shoot them in the leg.
Oh, no, just above the ankle, okay? We don't want to do any, serious permanent damage. Although if it slows them down and they miss voting, that would be good. Army unit not ordered to make Iraqi explosive search. In spite of all this song and dance that they're giving you about the timing of this story and about the weapons weren't even really there and all this other crap, well, guess what? The first U.S. military unit to reach the and I love the way people are pronouncing this. Now, last night, huh?
Yeah.
Last night, the guests on Lou Dobbs were saying Al-Kaka. Kaka. But Lou Dobbs was saying Kaka.
Kaka.
And that's what he was saying. The first U.S. military unit to reach the Al-Kaka military installation after the fall of Baghdad. I don't know what you're laughing about. It's good enough for Lou Dobbs on CNN, who's making probably $80 million a year. It's good enough for me. He is so full of himself, man. He's full of it, and he's full of himself. I hate Lou Dobbs. Why do I watch that? I don't know. Can I get through this story, please? I got a break coming here. Is it a long break or a weak break? A strong break? Or that's right. Don't forget Al Franken's on now. If you want to hear some really insightful, we didn't to do the job, and this is one of the jobs that needed to be done desperately. It's kind of like guarding those nuclear weapons there in the former Soviet Union, which I'm sure we're doing a fabulous job of that. 12:13 at 560 WQAM. It's always a great time to call Dial-A-Mattress at 1-800-Mattress, and now is an even better time than usual. Dial-A-Mattress is slashing prices on Serta mattresses. Call 1-800-Mattress right now and save an additional 20% off their super low factory direct prices on top quality Serta Perfect sleepers only at Dial-A-Mattress. When you call 1-800-Mattress, you'll get same-day delivery all across South Florida. You still get to pick the date and time for delivery, any 2-hour window you like to fit your schedule. And Dial-A-Mattress is proud of their on-time.
The Old Guard.
New on Fox from the director of Touched by an Angel.
So if you will just relax and hush up.
Arnold Schwarzenegger stars in Touched by a Governor.
Governor? Is that your hands on my head?
I'm a womanizer, I'm a terrible guy.
What is it with that boy?
Touched by a Governor.
I will go from house to house, knocking on doors.
It's the Gropinator!
On Fox. I apologize.
Yeah, I'll bet. 12:18 at 560 WQAM. Let's get in. We got any appointments in the book for this hour?
No, none for this hour, but it's the first.
Make a call this hour. Pound 560 on the Verizon and Singular Wireless line. And there's only one line ringing anyway. QAM, hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
First-time voter, voting for Kerry. Oh! I want to know about all these amendments. How do I vote? Or what's your opinion? I know I'm voting on
yes,
four.
Yes,
I'm for, and I don't know all the rest.
I just got through telling you. Listen very carefully, okay?
Tell me.
No.
No.
Yes.
Yes. All right.
Let me say it again.
No. Hey, listen to me.
Yes. See? Go ahead.
Listen to me.
I'm listening.
10:40 o'clock last night, watching that Eminem video.
Yeah.
On my satellite.
Right.
It goes blank, searching for satellite signal. I changed to 334, 332.
Yeah.
Everything is fine. I live in Miramar.
Uh-huh.
Check the weather last night.
The M&M police got you, baby.
Yeah. So no. Yes.
Wait till the baby Ruth police catch your ass. Okay, good. Nice job, Pally. Get out of here. Let me say it again.
No.
Yes. There it is. I got it. Just relax.
I was counting.
A little bit, got to give a little time there. A little slow on the upchuck sometime. 567-0560. Pound. It's a phenomenal turnout. They also said they had who the hell was that guy from Vegas? The Nevada turnout is spectacular, too, because they have advanced voting there also. Everywhere where they have early voting, it's just people are turning out in droves. And you want to know why? Because people are pissed off and fired up, baby. People are whipped up into a frenzy. The great, whatever the hell he was supposed to be, has split this country right down the middle. With all the dumb people on the one side and all the rest of us on the other side. In fact, Molly Ivan says, what a great lead-in, clueless people love Bush. You go, girl. She says, oh, you sweet, innocent, carefree citizens in non-swing states. You have no idea how much fun and slime you're missing. This is Dateline St. Louis. In the swingers, wolves stalk us mercilessly, as the pro-wolf lobby points out indignantly. No one has ever been killed by wolves on U.S. soil, but try arguing that in the face of the relentless new TV ad campaign. Breaking news everywhere. 380 tons of high explosives in Iraq left unattended. Stock market down to years low. Leading economic indicators down. More tragedy in Iraq. The swift boat liars are back. More Halliburton scandal. George Tenet said the war in Iraq is wrong. It feels like you're dodging meteorites here in the final days. Actually, the best evidence suggests we need to slow way down and go way back, because far from being able to take in anything new, it turns out many of our fellow had in fact been abandoned shortly after the first Gulf War. Bush and Cheney misled the country into war using these two false premises, and it turns out an enormous number of our fellow citizens still believe both of them to be true. It's not because they're stupid, but because an administration they trust is still telling them both phony propositions are true. I'm not so sure it's not because they're stupid.
Right, I take issue with that.
Anyway, Molly Ivan says, normally when you get a situation like that where people are simply not acknowledging reality, it's considered a cult, a form of groupthink based on irrational beliefs propagated by what is normally a charismatic leader. So those Kerry volunteers earnestly engaging Bush supporters on the latest outrage are way off base. They need to go all the way back to the two great lies that got us into this. Many American soldiers marching into Iraq believed it was payback for 9/11. A third slightly blinding fact to me is that more people now think Kerry behaved shamefully in regard to Vietnam than did W. Incredible what brazen lying will do, isn't it? A friend of Bush's dad got him into the Champagne unit of the Texas Air National Guard, a unit packed with the sons of the privileged trying to stay out of Vietnam, and he failed even to complete his service there. Kerry is a genuine, bona fide war hero. The men who served on his boat are supporting him for president, but those who didn't serve with him, who weren't there, who don't know what happened, have been given more credence. Wolves will get you. In further unhappy evidence of how ill-informed the American people are, blame the media, the program on international policy attitudes found Bush's supporters consistently ill-informed about Bush's stands on the issues. Kerryans, by contrast, are overwhelmingly right about his positions. 87% of Bush supporters think he favors putting labor and environmental standards into international trade agreements. 80% of Bush supporters believe Bush wants to participate in the treaty banning landmines. 76% of Bush supporters believe Bush wants to participate in the treaty banning nuclear weapons testing. 62% believe Bush would participate in the International Criminal Court. 61% believe Bush wants to participate in the Kyoto Treaty on Global Warming. 53% does not believe Bush is building a missile defense system, a.k.a. Star Wars. The only two Bush stands the majority of his supporters got right were increasing defense spending and who should write the new Iraqi constitution. Kerry supporters, by contrast, know their man on 7 out of 8 issues, with only 43% understanding he wants to keep defense spending the same, but change how the money is spent, and 57% believing he wants to up it. So what's going on here? I don't think Kerry people are smarter than Bush people, so why are they better informed? Maybe a small percentage of ideological right-wingers don't believe anything the establishment media say, but I don't think it's a matter of not believing what they hear, but of not hearing what's factual. The great triumph of the political right in this country has been the creation of a network of alternative media. There are people who listen to Rush Limbaugh for more hours every day than the Branch Davidians listen to David Koresh. Watch Fox News, read the Washington Times. Hey, that's what the Bush administration does according to his own words. But it's not just the right-wing media purveying lies. They're quoting the administration. These misimpressions come directly from the Bush administration still over and over. And they do. They lie like crazy, and there are a lot of... I think she's wrong about the one thing. The stupid part.
Right.
A lot of stupid people out there, Molly. Trust us. We talk to a lot of them every day. Believe me. At any rate, 1226 at 560 WQAM. If your carpets are taking a beating these days, and, well, your carpets always take a beating, like I always tell you, your carpeting is as bad as your sink when it comes to being a collector of germs. There's all kinds of schmutz in there, baby. Even the Arabs know that. So call Dry Concepts today and sanitize your home. Make your carpets look and smell and feel just like brand new, no matter how hopeless they may be right now. And also, of course, your furniture, your drapery, your expensive Oriental or your area rugs. Dry Concepts will do a miraculous job on all of these things. And you don't have to worry about any of those per-room scams or any other kind of attack on at the end as far as price is concerned, because Dry Concepts gives you a written guaranteed price up front before they start doing their fantastic job. And Dry Concepts uses a rapid drying technique on your carpeting, so your carpets are dry in just an hour and a half. You really can clean today, entertain tonight. I've been using them in my homes for over 20 years. I'd never dream of calling anybody else. And once you use them the first time, you'll heartily agree. I guarantee you that. Call them toll-free in Dade, Broward, or Palm Beach and get your home looking just like brand new. It's 1-800-248-5071. That's 1-800-248-5071. On the Wicked Web, it's dryconcepts.com. Dry Concepts, making carpets clean in South Florida since 1979.
You're listening to Neil Rogers exclusively on 560 QAM.
Jim Bob Newsom has been hailed as one of America's greatest songwriters.
The river of freedom runs out your home.
And when it comes to parodies, columnist Mitzi Mermelstein of the Penny Saver calls Jim Bob Newsom the greatest comedy writer since Milt Kamen.
Politicians don't tell the truth, and they lie.
Now, as a Grateful Dead fan, I appreciate the enormous talent of...
They got Costa Rican selling shrink-wrap shoes.
Now, no one else is as good as Jim Bob Newsom. Get your Jim Bob Newsom CD now at IMadeThisInMyToilet.com. Now.
1232 at 560 WQM. I enjoy the Franken-bits, you know.
They're way better
If
than
your
the
show is
show.
as good as Eddie, they have a 40 share. Anyway, David Sunrise says, as an almost lifelong fan of you and your program, I ran across a how to use the Diebold voting machines video. It originally came from, and then he's got a website that's got .nl, which means Netherlands. And they went, oh, gee, you hear Neil Rogers talking about Catherine Harris plane crash? He ought to be fired. Yeah. Guess what website I don't ever look at anymore, and nobody else with a brain ought to either.
I don't
know. Richard Mellon scaife-funded right-wing piece of self-hating fag crap, the Fudge Report. I taken it off my thing. It's off my thing.
I never had
If I want to read right-wing propaganda, I can go to Newsmax.com or something and get some real hallucinatory stuff.
Or FoxNews.com.
A silver Cadillac sped toward the group at a Sarasota intersection last night, then swerved at the last minute before driving off, according to police.
Oh, my God.
Witnesses gave the car's license plate number to police, and they tracked it to Barry M. Seltzer, 46, and his brother Alka. He came to the police station today and complained to officers that Harris supporters had impeded traffic. You go, Barry. I intimidated them with my car, Seltzer told police. In other words, he was just trying to move them pain-in-the-ass people who were impeding his way, move them out of the way, okay? What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
He was charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. A call for comment to Harris' campaign secretary was not immediately returned. Harris, a Sarasota Republican and one of the prime fixers of the 2000 election, a miserable, nasty bitch, is seeking a second congressional term after serving as Florida's Secretary of State during the protracted 2000 presidential fixed race. And, of course, Glenda in the Hood is making, like I said yesterday, Catherine seem like a piker by comparison, like small potatoes. Now, that's right. Nice job there, Glenda, getting Ralph Nader on it, pal. I'm sure that was very, very nonpartisan and just the way, make sure it's fair. Speaking of Ralph Nader, Tim Robbins was on one of the talking heads yesterday sometime. Did you see him?
No.
Now, unfortunately, like Phil Donahue and some other very naive people back in 2000, Tim Robbins, who's a great guy and is coming from all the right places, he endorsed Ralph Nader, supported Ralph Nader, and voted for Ralph Nader. This time he's spending all of his waking moments running around the country, speaking to other Nader people, telling them, don't do it again. Don't do it again. Don't screw us again. Like that song says that the Beach Boys sing, screw us again. So that's what he's doing. That's his act. Join George and Boca Brian today for happy hour, 5 to 7 at Treasure Island,
and
right
Miguel.
off the Palmetto. I beg your pardon?
And Miguel.
And Miguel, whose wife lets him out once a week to go. If she only knew what was going on there, she might not let him out. Anyway, Treasure Island, located off the Palmetto, just north of the 122nd Street exit. Stop by to win prizes. Check out this week's feature, Stephanie Evans, who's going to be blowing bowling balls out of her orifice. Isn't that where you keep your bowling balls, in your orifice?
That's where I keep them.
Right, your golf clubs, your bowling balls, your ping pong balls, your badminton shuttlecocks, all of these things. Documents raise new questions about Bush's guard service. Oh, I better not read that. I will read it in a second. I want to get a bunch of calls in.
Yeah. Is it fully vetted?
Also, I like this. This is from The Guardian. I wish we had The Guardian in the U.S. instead of just in the U.K. And like somebody said, the internets is where it be. The same guy that said
Abu Ghraib.
He's the guy that told you you'll find a real crap on the internets. Let's see. Steve says you got to check out this website. It's a hilarious game trying to give Bush a brain. Imgag.com. You going to take a look at this also?
Yeah.
Well, you got a whole bunch of homework assignments there while I'm doing these boring bedtime stories. And taking a few very, very important calls, too, of course. That's our bread and butter. WQAM, hello.
I don't know why you're coming down on Bill Kamal. He's not doing anything.
Yeah. Reverend Jones. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Uncle Neil, how are you doing?
Pretty good, Pally.
I just turned the radio off, sorry. I had to call you for two reasons. This is Virginia Key, by the way.
Oh, Virginia Key, hello.
I actually converted a Cuban and got him to vote for Kerry, one.
Oh, my God. That is astonishing.
The classic thing was actually being in the room, actually completely across the room, when I heard him talking to his mother on the phone.
Yeah.
And,
how old was this Cuban?
Pardon me?
How old?
44, 45?
Oh, my
right.
God.
And I could hear his mother screaming on the phone.
Good.
From the other side of the room.
I hope she has a heart attack and then she can't vote on Tuesday.
I know I'm familial public enemy number one.
Excellent.
And to that idiot that called you at the end of yesterday's show.
Which one?
The idiot that was saying how come, you're liberal and how come gays are liberal and this and that.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, buddy, why don't you go have a meeting at your house with the Log Cabin Republicans and then give us a call, okay?
Yeah, right. And by the way, the Log Cabin Republicans are not endorsing Bush this year. Even those right-wing self-hating faggots aren't doing it. How do you like that?
Yeah, well, he should have them over for a wonderful little love-hate session.
Over his knee is what he ought to have.
Something like that.
Maybe over his...
Rectum.
Okay, thanks, Pally. Have a
You're
great
welcome.
day. Good job. Nice going. There's one of our people did it.
Oh.
We're building votes for Kerry one at a time.
Oh.
Just like we're building the audience here at QAM with one schmuck and a sandwich board out there in Lincoln Road Mall, where nobody speaks English anyway. I heard a rumor that, I think you started it.
Yeah.
That all the traditional South Beach crowd, that they're like all fleeing out of there since the hip-hop crowd came moving in.
Did I start that rumor? I don't know anything about South Beach.
I don't know who started that, but I've been hearing that from a lot of people. That, like, even right in the middle of it, on a sunny day, like at noon, it's getting really dark on South Beach. That's what I'm hearing. Now, is that true?
I don't know.
Well, what do you mean you don't know?
I
You used to watch
go there.
Whammy.
Yeah.
See, that was remember I told you that was their whole premise? The idea that, South Beach, that's where it's at, all South Florida.
Whammy. God, it sucks.
It sure did. We're still embarrassed and humiliated by it, which goes to show you what a putz Barry Diller is. Well, of all the people in the world with big money, he is one of the worst. He is one of the most idiotic schmucks. Barry Diller. I'd rather work for Phyllis Diller. Don't be confused by the tide of contradictory voter surveys. Bush is in trouble, writes Mark Mulitzis. Mark Mulitzis, who's having blitzes for lunch right now in England somewhere, in the Guardian UK. I'm going to read this because this is pretty interesting, because a lot of people out there, they're getting so buffaloed by these polls, even if they live like in Oneonta, they're getting buffaloed by the polls, and especially CNN, which shows those Gallup polls over and over again. Even in Massachusetts, I wouldn't be surprised before Tuesday that CNN shows, Bush has just moved ahead in Massachusetts.
You're listening to Neil Rogers.
Grave robbers, liars, Nazis.
QAM.
Presenting the newest version of Hooked on Phonics.
The all-new George Bush Phonics.
Now with 30 easy-to-use computer games to make learning fun.
That's why they're fighting so vociferously. It'll mean it's less likely we have Peninsula, Korean Peninsula. The IAEA isn't if you send mixed messages. Is in this nature. It's not protect America in the long run. They're Zarqawi. At Abu Ghraib.
See an improvement in your child's reading in 4 weeks or your money back.
I needed it.
Call now, 1-800-8EFE-CDEFAG.
About 45 at 560. What was that, FAG something? That's what I heard.
Like that.
Now, before that other story about don't get all panicky about these polls, embedded reporters saw no explosive search ad. That was more of a pit stop there for us. And, the searching, certainly some of the soldiers head off on their own, look through the bunkers just to look at the vast amount of ordnance lying around. But as far as we could tell, she said there was no move to secure the weapons, nothing to keep looters away. She told MSNBC that there was no talk among the 101st of securing the area after they left either. She said the roads were cut off, so it would have been very difficult, they believe, for the looters to get there. So there's the latest and greatest, as that story keeps expanding and embellishing and just getting bigger and bigger like a gigantic mushroom. There's nothing like a gigantic mushroom,
They're good.
Unless, of course, it turns out to be a toadstool. Pigeon. Which of these is most interesting to you? That's our poll question today. We got 603 votes. Tons of vanished weapons in Iraq, 231. Before we do the poll result, I wanted to do it again. It'll be ponderous to some of the people, but it's very necessary that we do this. Because I think I finally stumbled into the answer to our starting at different times every day problem. And that is that those people who have been kind of like put off by that and wondering what the hell is going on, you can tune in at 11 o'clock every morning. We would like you to tune in like at 6 when Howard starts. But, if you're one of those people that isn't a stern listener or you're here or there, whatever, you can tune in at 11 and you won't miss much. You'll miss some phone calls. We're just going to take calls between whenever Howard ends. Now, the last 2 days, yesterday and Monday, it worked out perfect. Because they went on right to 11 o'clock, which would be nice if they would do that every day. Although it's even nicer now that we can make appointments with callers for them to call between, like, say, 10:30 or 10:35 and 11 o'clock, right?
Right.
Yeah, you can make an appointment and we'll give you your own line. You can call in. We'll give you like 5-10 seconds till we hang up on you. So that's the deal. So from 11 to 2 basically is the meat. That's the meat of the matter. That's the heart, the guts, the bladder, the liver, the pancreas of the show. And the rest before that is like, whatever, que sera, sera. And once in a while, if we don't get any phone calls, we'll drop in something really cute like... And if we really want to be... like that. Cutting edge. Like Al Franken. Anyway, which of these is most interesting to you? Tons of vanished weapons in Iraq, 234. Bill Kamal busted and fired, 138. Recuperating Clinton on stump for Kerry, 79. Red Sox may be world champs, 73. Humiliating Ashley Simpson lip sync on SNL. That's got
About 30, man.
Dolphins finally win 126. Don't hold your breath for a repeat on Monday night. The NHL lockout 16. That just blows me away. You know what? That many people who claim to be concerned about hockey.
The strange part, the year before, 16 times.
Shortage of flu vaccine 9, and the Patriots win their 21st in a row 3. See, one thing about up here, we got hockey going until it's coming out of your...
When he does that, he comes back to Bogani, who,
See what I'm saying? We got hockey stuff going in 26 hours a day. Look at that.
Necessarily, Wolf. I think that this election...
Get out of there. Well, there's the governor of Arkansas who's trying to deny because they just showed the new poll, the state poll, 48-48. And Bubba's going to be there on Sunday or Monday in Arkansas. Put the Kerry over the top and get all them dark-complected people out of there, too. We did do the break, didn't we? Yeah, we did. I just forgot to cross it off because I'm getting so far ahead of myself. Now that we officially have basically what's a 3-hour show. Right?
Right.
That's fine.
It's always 11:05 to me, so I don't even know when it is.
Well, that's right. Now, in other words, they still haven't got the new clock in there. Clarence can't even take care of that. He can't get my paychecks on time anymore, which I'm sick and tired of his crap. And we can't get a new clock in there for you.
I bought a little travel
That's a
clock.
tremendous expense there for Beasley Broadcasting, which is listed on the NASDAQ, which is supposedly a real responsible broadcasting company, a real honest-to-God, not just a mom-and-pop bunch of rednecks. And they can't even get a freaking clock in there. Look at that. Crude oil is down to $53.60. Isn't that a bargain? And the markets are up there again. 52 up on the Dow, 28 up on the NASDAQ. I wouldn't be surprised if they goose it up over 10,000 again, if they get their way. Even though that consumer confidence yesterday was not good. Bad. Bad. Now, what the hell is this? Frank in Melbourne says, what happened to Frank that was doing our electoral votes, by the way? What happened to him? Remember him?
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you he's probably scared to do it now because...
He faxed the thing in the other day. I faxed it to you. Or at least I thought I did.
That was days ago.
Okay.
Days ago. You're like stuck in the past, man. You better get with it. You didn't even know about bowling for soup.
Who?
Frank in Melbourne says on Amendment 3, I'd like to point out what I think is the worst part of it. Well, I don't want to go through all of this. I mean, Frank in Melbourne, I don't want to denigrate your facts and the time you took to write all of this cockery, but I mean, the public needs to remember a flag waving corporate. Okay, just vote no on Amendment 3, okay?
Right.
We already agree on that. We don't need to make the case. On the 8 amendments, here's the answer to you. If you're too lazy to look on our website, we've got them all listed there. We have a link so you can read it in detail and make up your own mind if you really are capable of doing that. Or if you just want to go with us, just go.
No. Yes.
Got it?
Got it.
Okay. Now, what was I just doing here? Oh, don't be confused by the tide of contradictory voter surveys. Bush is in trouble. This is by Mark Molitzis in The Guardian UK, which is a great publication. Everybody ought to be forced to read The Guardian UK, that left-wing rag. We love it. With the week, and you notice if there's anything that's to the left of Attila the Hun, occasionally CBS kinds of leans over there because they hate Bush like poison. Anything, that's biased and it's that liberal media. But it's okay to have Fox on there 24/7. It's okay that CNN and MSNBC are both attempting to be Fox Light now, assuming that they're going to draw those viewers in, which they never will.
Hey, Fox is fair and balanced.
Yeah, right. That Rupert
so.
Murdoch man, he never saw a fascist he didn't like. With a week to go, it says Americans are being inundated by polls, and most of them spend a lot of time bowling. It says at least 112 have been published for the presidential contest in the last week alone. While it's tempting to look at the jumble of results and declare polling hopelessly useless, the fact is polls have a great deal to tell us about the state of the race and not in the way that people generally assume. Now, I want you to listen to this, okay? Can you handle it?
All right.
He says polls are always reported as though there's a winner and there's a loser. So a poll showing Bush leading 45-42 is headlined, Bush leads by 3, when the reality is that Bush is actually losing. In U.S. elections, any elected official garnering less than 50% of the vote in polls is considered vulnerable. As Democratic pollster Mark Blumenthal notes, voters typically know incumbents well, have strong opinions about their performance. Challengers are less familiar and invariably fall short on straightforward comparisons of experience and in the presidential arena command of foreign policy. Some voters find themselves conflicted, dissatisfied with the incumbent, yet also wary of the challenger, and many carry that uncertainty through the final days of the campaign and sometimes right into the voting booth. Among the perpetually conflicted, the attitudes about the incumbent are usually more predictive of these conflicted voters' final decision than their lingering doubts about the challenger. Thus, in the campaign's last hours, we tend to see undecided voters break for the challenger. Testing this theory, blogger Chris Bowers examined presidential poll results since 1976 and calculated that undecided voters broke for the challenger 86% of the time. It's a dynamic that clearly weighs heavily on the Bush campaign. Speaking to conservative bloggers at the Republican National Convention, Bush's pollster Matthew Dowd said the 50% rule didn't apply to the president. Based on the polling data they've aggregated on undecideds in battleground states, the Bush team has compiled the following profile on undecideds. They're overwhelmingly white, tend to be older, go to church often, and describe themselves as moderate to conservative. Dowd says they can't find any self-described liberals who remain undecided. As a result, he predicted guessing. Some get it right, some get it wrong, and half the time the luck is probably involved. That's why it's best to look at polls in the aggregate, easy to do given the sheer number of them, rather than obsess over any special one. With that brief polling primer, anyone can take a look at the numbers and get a sense for the state of the race, and a strict by-the-numbers calculation shows that Bush is in serious trouble. In Ohio, Bush numbers range from 43 to 49%, failing to break 50% in any of the 12 Ohio polls. Indeed, in October, there are signs that Bush has essentially abandoned the state, working to build his electoral majority by winning 3 out of 4 in Florida, Iowa, Wisconsin, New Mexico. But October polling in those states also shows an incumbent in serious trouble. In 14 Florida polls, Bush hasn't broken 50% since the Survey USA poll conducted between October 1st and 3rd. A subsequent Survey USA poll now gives Kerry 50 to 49 lead in the state. In Iowa, a single poll has him at 51%, while 6 others range between 46 and 49. Wisconsin is giving Democrats heartburn, but Bush breaks 50% in only one of the 9 polls this month. 2 independent polls put him as far back as 43%. New Mexico has Bush in the 43 to 49% range, anemic numbers in the state that Gore won by less than 1,000 votes last time. Much can happen in 1 week, and Republicans are doing their part to prevent a fair election. Perhaps the Bush camp polls reflect any of the stuff from the last 24 to 36 hours about the missing explosives in Iraq. And those explosives are going to blow up all right in their puss. You'll see. 12:57 at 560 WQM. Speaking of puss, if you look in the mirror at your ugly puss and you see that big glaring bald spot, it doesn't make you look any younger or any better. It makes you look nasty and old is what it does. Well, Charles Alfieri can help you make you look great because he's been helping the famous and not so famous look their best for about 30 years now.
About 30, man.
That is correct. You wouldn't even recognize Charlie's work when you see it because it doesn't look like a piece. The most critical area of any hair system is that hairline, and Charlie's new skin-like hair system is 100% undetectable. That's right. The hair looks like it's grown right out of your scalp. And Charlie's work is completely guaranteed. You have nothing to lose but that ugly, glaring bald spot because you tried Charlie's system for a month, about
30, man.
30 days, and after a month, if you don't love the way it looks and feels and smells, if you're not getting laid like at least 20, 30, 40 times a day, just say, hey, I want my money back. Here's your hair. Charlie didn't work. I'm sure that won't happen, though. Make that call today. Tell Charlie you heard about it here on the Neil Rogers Show and get your special QAM $200 discount off the regular $800 price of that natural hairline system. 1-800-321-2413. Don't forget, the secret to a great hair system is make sure that nobody can tell you're wearing one, and Charlie's new skin-like hair system is as natural as it gets. 1-800-321-2413, or on that wicked web, it's charlesalfieri.com.
You're listening to Neil Rogers on 560 QAM.
Here's a fax from Ken who says, speaking of Catherine Stupid Bitch Harris, he's got a website, a link. Links to a story about a C-SPAN camera picking up her and fellow Weasel Republican Representative Rick Renzi canoodling in the background while Republican Rob Simmons delivers a speech on the floor. The video goes on for a few minutes while these two married fools, Renzi has 12 kids, court each other in the background. Too bad, though, the video stops right as it looks she's ready to, on him. Well, I don't want to read that.
Rubba-dubba.
Rubba-dubba on him. Well, did you take a look at that? How about these other things you've been looking at?
No, the Bush brain thing is up, and it works just fine, and you should test your skill. And the other one is going up as we speak, and I'm checking this one out right now.
This is dailycost.com, which is a great website. We love that one. We love dailycost.com. Do we not? Yes.
Yes.
Here's no sooner than I asked for Fred, and here's his fax. Boy, you people, sometimes when you least expect it, man, you're right on top of it. Self-proclaimed exclusive Neil Rogers Show pollster Fred, with 1 week to go, says he has Kerry winning 289 to 249. Now, let me just take a puke, because I know a lot of people out there are very lazy, although some people aren't sitting at a computer right now. Some people don't have access to a computer, and some poor slippers out there don't even own a PC, which is very, very unacceptable at this point. We think it's acceptable. Bush says Iraq is a dangerous place. Oh, man. Maybe that's why we had all those people die when he told Pat Robertson there was going to be no casualties. Maybe he didn't realize it was a dangerous place, you think?
It's possible.
That might have been it. Oh, there's the Bush. Click it, release the brain.
We understand how important prescription drug coverage. So prescription drugs will be an integral part of the Medicare plan.
Oh, that is beautiful. Now, let's see. Oh, I see. You have to click it to, try to drop the brain.
Right.
Oh, that'll keep you busy. It'll keep you off the streets for hours today, man. Give that to our sales department. And don't forget about management, such as it is. Okay, now what I was going to do, how the hell, I got to stop that. Jesus. Oh, game over. I lost. I couldn't get a brain in his head. And then we got Eminem's Mosh video, which is great. And then I'm looking. Here, where's our thing? There's no, yes. Here's the electoral vote predictor. I know what it was. And I'm just trying to compare, which it wasn't really good news for the Kerry people this morning.
That it's not the administration's fault, and he even criticized those who raised the subject.
Anyway, it shows Bush 274 and Kerry 257. But also this one gives Bush, Ohio, which he's, according to their latest poll, 2 points ahead, and Florida, which it shows him 4 points ahead, which both are certainly up for grabs. It also shows Arkansas here for Bush, 6 points ahead, but the latest poll beyond this shows it 48-48, dead even. And this one also still shows Bush a point ahead in Hawaii. There is no way, there isn't a Chinaman's chance in Honolulu that he's going to win Hawaii, okay? They've only had 2 polls out there since the polling started. Ain't going to happen, baby. So it's a dead tight. Anyway, here's what Fred says. Did you get that?
Mm-hmm.
He says he has Kerry winning 289 to 249 electoral votes with a week to go. Many states have moved to non-competitive now, like Louisiana, Arizona, Missouri, Maine, Michigan, Minnesota, Oregon, and Washington. Perhaps they were non-competitive from the start. Anyway, they're no longer in play. He says, I still refuse to concede New Mexico, North Carolina, Virginia, and West Virginia to Bush, but it looks like he'll take those 4. Finally, the battleground or toss-up states, any of these could go either way, except perhaps Pennsylvania and New Hampshire, which looks solid for Kerry.
Rock solid.
As does Nevada for Bush. I'm not so sure about that from what we're hearing from Nevada today, but nevertheless. It says the other 6 are truly too close to call, even including Arkansas, where Bubba will be in a few days. He also says, what the hell is up with Iowa and Wisconsin? Both Gore states last time that Kerry's having a hard time closing. Too many white folks there, I believe, he says. Although if you look at Iowa and Wisconsin, now like Wisconsin, Minnesota, on the electoral map, the tracking map we've got on our website, today finally Kerry edges back ahead in both Wisconsin and Minnesota, and they've got Iowa even Steven, dead even, flat foot. He also says, Fred C. does, I have Kerry winning all 3 big states, not just wishful thinking, unless Jeb and the Hood get in there and mess around again, it's looking like Kerry should win the 3 big enchiladas, Florida, Pennsylvania, and Ohio. Well, we'll see. 6 days to go, man. The pressure is so great you can almost smell it. Now let's get in a few thousand calls. 5670560, pound 560 on these Verizon and Singular wireless lines. WQAM, hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hi. I just want to let you know there's I don't know if you saw this website, realclearpolitics.com.
Nope.
It's really an excellent one, and it breaks it down by state by state. You can see all the polls of the past and the new polls.
Really? Realclearpolitics.com.
Right. And you go to the undecided states, and it breaks them right down there. It's very good.
Right. Well, what are they showing now? They got a total?
Yeah, they have a total, and they have all the different polls, all the different ones from who does what poll, and you kind of get a trend and see who's favoring Bush and which one's favoring Kerry.
Right.
It's kind of interesting. The other thing I wanted to ask you, I was thinking about ways they're going to try to steal it, and I was thinking, is there a way they can steal through the Electoral College after the election's done?
Well, yeah, because there's one elector in West Virginia who says he won't vote for Bush no matter what. He's going to vote for Kerry. And then in Colorado, the thing is on a ballot, which for the life of me, I don't see how they can pass that and then enforce it in this election. But I think they're going to try to, where they proportionally give out the electoral votes like they do in Maine. And if that happens, that could be pretty interesting. If it's really as tight as people think, that could change the whole election.
Yeah, and also, Jeb last election was going to try to do that when everything was up in the air down here. Was he not? They were trying to get their own electorates sent up there no matter what happened?
Well, no matter what happened, Bush was going to win. Now, his brother was going to win last time. He called him on the phone and told him, don't worry, the fix is in.
Yeah, I know.
So no matter what it took, whether they had to bribe Clarence Thomas or give him some good weed or whatever the hell it took, that was, and they did it.
Yeah, I know.
Good luck, Pally, early and often. Thanks for the website. What is it? Realclearpolitics.com. You check that out?
No.
Well, I will during the break. Well, that's not up your alley.
I'm downloading the video.
Pictures, doesn't have any cartoons. What?
I'm downloading that Canoodle video.
Oh, the Canoodle one. Oh, let's get all of this stuff on there, okay? Keep people really busy. It's after all Wednesday already. We just got a few days left. I've been saying 6 days. It's is it 5, 6,
4,
3, 2, 1.
Yes. No.
WQAM. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Is this George?
Yeah.
Hey, George, I had a quick question. Listen, I'm getting ready to vote.
Right.
And I was told that if I don't vote on each candidate, be it, a senator or whatever the case may be, my ballot would be
that is absolutely a lie. That is untrue.
Okay.
You could go there and just vote for president if you want, which is not a good idea. But, I mean, you could just vote for anyone. If you wanted to only vote for the Senate, you don't have to vote in every race. That's idiotic.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Do a good job, Pally.
Bye-bye.
See, there you go. People that don't know anything about voting make up all of this crap. And this poor guy, well, you got to vote in every race. You don't have to do that. There are many people that just vote for president. which we certainly want you to vote for Betty Castorell for Senate, right? Because we got to hang out of that Bobby Graham seat. Keep in mind, that's not a seat that the Democrats can gain in Florida. That's one they're trying to hang on to. And that unctuous, suddenly, the newfound right-wing fanatic Mel Martinez, who the hell needs his crap, okay? So all you people that are going to vote for Kerry, or whatever you're going to vote, I mean, we got to get Betty Castor in there. And also those amendments, especially number 4. Because I'm a degenerate and I want slot machines in there at the racetracks, especially at Pompano Park, but at all of them. And all that money for education, which has to be new funds for education. Oh, and by the way, tonight the 649 lottery here is $22 million, George, so have a good time.
All right.
What are you laughing about? I came with it. Oh, I still can't get over that. The timing would have been so perfect, but my luck, you know. That would have been so great to have that number 13 instead of 14. That's what Bill Kamal said, too. Just didn't work out.
Ooh.
Simon says, I walked out of Broward County Courthouse with the powers to be looking for 58,000 absentee ballots. Oh, God. Hey, we got it under control, baby. What's a few 100,000 missing ballots here and there among friends, right?
Right.
It's going to be, you think the last time was really wild.
Oh,
because
no, wild.
That was basically down to Florida, and by that time everybody else had fixed, the fix was already in. But now you got Ohio, and you got Florida, and you got Minnesota, and you got Wisconsin, and you even got maybe Hawaii by the time those votes come in 5-6 days after. Unreal. 12 minutes after 1 at 560 WQM. That's why we got all those inspectors, like the guy that called us in the first hour there, from all over the world, like we're a 10th world country. We have thousands of people coming in to inspect the elections to see if the United States of America can hold an honest election. Unbelievable. Hey, here's something that's believable, and that's Delights of West Boca, a great store if you're one of those low-carb dieters. You're sick and tired of searching in the supermarket for something different, something with some taste, variety, that's also low-carb. So Delights of West Boca is definitely the store for you, whether you're starting or restarting the Atkins, the Sugar Busters, the South Beach, any low-carb, sugar-free diet. Delights has always been and continues to be the number one low-carb store in the entire South Florida area. If you want your questions answered by people that understand low-carb dieting inside and out, if you want unbelievable selection and the lowest prices anywhere, this is your place, Delights of West Boca. You'll find over 1,200 great products like Carbolite ice cream. They got your breads and pasta, chocolates, brownies, cookies, and lots more, all with minimal carbs. They're open every day, 7 days a week from 10 a.m. till 10 p.m., and you'll find Delights on the northeast corner of Glades and 441, right next to Boston Market in Boca. Call them toll-free, 1-877-LOW-CARB. That's LOWCARB, or on the web, lowcarb.com. There's only one Delights of West Boca. A lot of stores with similar names, don't get fooled. There's only one Delights of West Boca, and it's your official Atkins Retail Center.
You're listening to Neil Rogers, exclusively on 560 QAM.
Oh my God, your breaths are beautiful.
Somebody farted in here.
And I just keep stinking, stinking, and 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 in this little room, I heard a big boom. When I turned around, could not see whom. And made the air in here smell just like a tune. It was the crack of doom, and sure ain't no perfume. We got a toxic emission, like a macro ignition. Open all the doors, yeah, that's what I'm wishing. Can't get the smell out, so get the hell out. Pull the window up and jump down now. Inhale and draw breath, turn and blow near death. Run away northwest, east, south. Somebody, they know they did it. Got sticky, cause they farted. Yeah, they farted. Yeah, they farted. Somebody farted. Yeah. Somebody farted in here. Somebody farted.
You smell that?
Somebody farted in here.
Yeah.
Somebody farted. Hey, somebody farted in here. Somebody farted. Somebody farted in here. Somebody farted.
118 at 560 WQAM. So I checked out realpolitics.com during the break, and I don't get it. Because it's got links to like Air America and Mother Jones and Smirking Chimp and, a lot of good websites, but I don't see anything on there where it has any link to any polling numbers. Do you?
I didn't look.
Well, I did. Don't waste your time. So there must be more to it than that, okay? I don't know. He sounded like he was well-intended, but maybe there's a little bit more to it, a little bit confused. Follow what I'm saying?
No.
5670560, pound 560 on the Verizon and Singular wireless lines. And look at that phone now all of a sudden, baby. Look at that. Man, when's the last time you looked at that thing and saw it look like that? And what about the phone?
They don't have appointments.
Oh, that's right. We got to fill up that appointment book for the next couple of months, okay? Now, when you call in, we might not talk to you. We just might, find a time that's convenient for you or convenient for us, and we'll mark you down. WQAM, hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hi, it's Tony. I just want to say thanks to you and George for talking common sense. I've been listening a long time, but I haven't called in.
Absolutely.
Yesterday, I went and I voted early, and I saw a lot more people there than I would like to see. So
you saw what? You saw more Bush people than you would have liked to see? Where was this?
At Plantation at the courthouse.
In Plantation?
Yes, sir.
Well, there's probably all them yahoos out there,
Yeah, well, I saw a lot of drooling faces, so...
Mm-hmm. That's it. That's the one.
Yeah, so I'm just hoping that if you're going to vote for Kerry, make sure you do it and get out. Don't depend on somebody else to do it.
Amen.
That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, thanks, pal. Go do it again, just to make sure you get it counted, okay? Do it again. Over and over again. Practice makes perfect. That's our motto of voting in Florida. WQAM, hello.
Hello, how you doing, Neil?
I'm doing great.
Okay, I was calling to make an appointment to call you on tomorrow.
Let's see. We got an opening at about 12 minutes after 1. How's that? Some contact with it. It's called the Stress Buster. It's called the Stress Inflictor.
Yeah.
It's like a gigantic bazooka, and it shoots out stress. In fact, it reaches all the way up here, which I thought once I got this far away from them, that the amount of stress would have to be so minimal. You just can't do it. You could be like on the North Pole,
right,
and you still couldn't get far away enough from that stress inflictor.
Now who's being naive, Kay?
Yeah, right. Line 9, appointment time. QAM, hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Ray King seemed a little pale last night.
Ray King?
Yeah, the pitcher. He could use a little sun.
I did not watch it at the World Series. I have no interest in it.
Okay.
Okay, whatever you say. Ray King. Who's Ray King, Josh?
He's a black pitcher for the Cardinals.
And he looked a little pale? Well, I bet you they're like a whiter shade of pale today after going down 3-0. Them Cardinals. Poor Dave the Cop. I guarantee he's not saying too much these days. He's mum. He is real quiet, real mum. You know that there actually are some Canadians because of that British thing in them? They say, oh, mum and dad. Oh, mum. Oh, God. There's so many things about the Brits that give me the schmitz. Let's see, John says on a fax, I'm so glad I fixed that fax problem. I really should have been an engineer. Because, I might not, huh?
Railroad engineer?
No, a radio engineer, because the things that I can fix, man, I'm like, got my own do-it-yourself joint here. In fact, I'm rolling it right now on this fax you just sent. John says, if you look at Vegas odds, Bush is still an overwhelming favorite to win, minus 165. They're usually pretty accurate. What's your take on that? It says, if you don't know what minus 165 means, which I don't because I'm not into any of that kind of sports gambling, you put up $165 to win 100, or ask Hank. Ask the Humper. What do you say, Humper? Well, that may be the case, and maybe Bush is going to win Nevada, but who the hell knows? All I know is that this morning they had one of the honchos on there saying that the advanced voting on the Democrats had an edge on the Republicans. They were coming out in droves. But we'll see, Whatever that means. Do you understand what that means?
No.
Did we ever get any clarification on that realclearpolitics.com?
No.
No. I'm just checking. WQAM, hello.
Hello, Neil?
Yes, sir.
Hi, is John Edwards going to be in Miami-Dade Community College today?
He is? You're asking me? You're supposed to be telling us.
Well, I believe so. I haven't heard anything about it.
Well, I mean, wait a minute. And where did you hear that?
On johnkerry.com. I got it on the computer.
Yeah.
And then there was a link on the very bottom, and I clicked that. And then it said to print out your tickets to see John Edwards. It says community gathering with John Edwards in Miami, Wednesday.
Well, then why are you doubting that? What time is this going to be?
Today at 1:30 at the Miami-Dade Community College in Kendall.
You better hurry up, man.
Yeah, I'm away.
Okay, have a good time. Let's see. I'm looking at the Sun Sentinel, although maybe I should be looking at the Herald. I just don't trust the Herald website because it's such a crappy website. Oh, there's Pedro, baby. Pedro did it last night. Let's see. Do we have anything in here about Kerry is going to be, Edwards, let's see. Kissimmee, Cheney rejects Kerry. Yeah, right. Clearwater, Edwards scolds Bush. If he was in Clearwater yesterday, it wouldn't surprise me if he's going to be in town today, right? Old Johnny Edwards?
Right.
I don't want to say this. I'll say it real quiet. He don't impress me much, okay?
I thought you'd liked him.
He was, no, I don't like him. No, I like him just fine. No, he's not my type. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying. He was on with King the other night. He basically repeats a lot of trite cliches. You know, I don't know. There just don't seem to be much there. Anyway, he scolded President Bush yesterday for invoking, or today. I see, this is today. Well, how do you like that? So like I said, if he was in Clearwater before, he's sure as hell going to be in Kendall this afternoon. Right?
Right.
I'm printing it out right now. Bada beep, bada boop, bada bop. I don't, doesn't say anything about it though. But I'm sure he is at 1:30, so you better get it down into Kendall right away. You can hang out at Fat Rich's house. WQAM, hello. QAM? Not there. WQAM, hello.
Yeah, hi.
Yes, sir.
I want to talk to Neil.
Speaking.
Oh, hi, Neil.
Yep.
I don't know if you've talked about it. I just turned on the radio. I've been at work. Can't get you out at work. I'm in Palm Beach County, but I was reading on Yahoo about Broward County. I don't know if you talked about the 58,000.
About the 58,000 ballots that just disappeared, vanished into thin air? Yeah, I talked about it.
You did talk about it. Okay,
yeah, but what's
great.
58,000, man? It's small potatoes, you know?
5%. Yeah, nothing, right? Exactly.
Right.
Well, I'd be interested to know what zip codes those missing ballots are going to, whether they contain areas that are usually disenfranchised voters.
Oh, they haven't figured that one out yet. Probably very dark zip codes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
actually what it did say, didn't the story say, oh no, that was the other story about the 179 ballots the guy had in the box somewhere. There's ballots, there's registration forms, there's stuff laying around in dumpsters. If you lobster, who else in town would ever dream of doing that? Also, Emerald Coast is serving lobster bisque, Jonah stone crab, roasted duck, and grilled. See you. Emerald Coast is no ordinary Asian buffet. The service is impeccable, and I guarantee when you walk out there, you'll be waddling out because you'll be full to the gills with a big smile on your puss. Start off the delectable feast with 6 different soups, and then sample dozens and zillions of delicious entrees. New York strip made to order just the way you like it. Grilled salmon, hand-carved prime rib, their new Thai specialties. And don't forget, no MSG headaches because they don't use any MSG. No cornstarch, no crap. They cook all of their fine cuisine only with cholesterol-free oils, too. The buffet at the Emerald Coast features a humongous salad bar, a full Chinese food lineup, and a brand new sushi bar. And if there's any room left after all of this, if you're a real cow, check out the dessert station featuring Belgian waffles, pies, cakes, pastries, ice cream with all your favorite toppings, fresh fruit too. A perfect ending to a real serious pig out. 3 Emerald Coast locations. They're in Sunrise, Sunny Isles, and Pembroke Pines. So take the entire family right now or your next business lunch and book it right now, right after you book some call-in time with us. Takeout and delivery is always available, too. Voted #1 by Zagat Restaurant Reviews and WSVN News as South Florida's best Asian buffet. For information, call 954-572-3822. 954-572-3822. It is unbeatable, the Emerald Coast Chinese Buffet.
You're listening to Neil Rogers exclusively on 560.
It stinks! Oh, Miami town.
Absolutely.
At 560 WQAM. Well, I guess this must be next on her list. 'Cause now J-Lo wants to be a Buddhist.
That would be cool, Papi.
But she's confused.
What are you talking about?
The word she's misused.
I don't misuse the word. What are you talking about, Papi?
She thinks it's about
reading books
by the Dalai Lama.
Stylo, the Dalai Lama. You like my book?
I hope it's not from.
There's no from, Papi.
A celebrity stump.
There's no stump, Papi. No stump. No stump.
'Cause the Buddhists don't want this now.
Of course they do. They want the butt. The Buddhists love my butt. Huh?
She wants to rub Buddha's tummy.
I love the big fat man. I love to rub the tummy. You like my butt?
But we hear Travolta's wrist.
Hey, I don't even know John Travolta, Papi. So forget about him.
Just like he and his wife Kelly.
They always call me all the time at home. They say J-Lo, you know.
They want her to be.
Yeah, check it out.
A Scientologist.
I want to be a Buddhist, not a Scientologist.
And Jackal's pushing Jehovah's Witness.
Get out of here, Jackal. You like my butt, Papi?
135, 25 till 2. That's what they have a lot of in Afghanistan. But Bill Kamal busted and fired at Channel 786, a strong second place. A good showing for the Weather Fairy Jr. Red Sox may be world champs, 100. Recuperating Clinton on the stump for Kerry, 96. Humiliating Ashley Simpson, lip syncs on SNL, 37. Why would anybody care about that? She couldn't sing her out of a paper sack. Dolphins finally win one, 36. NHL lockout, 25. I don't believe it. Shortage of vaccine, 11. Patriots win their 21st in a row, only 5. Well, jealousy will really get you every time. 5670560, pound 560 on the Verizon and Singular Wireless lines. WQAM, hello.
NHL lockout, 25.
QAM.
I don't believe it.
Neil,
Yes, sir.
how you doing, buddy?
All right, Pally.
All right. Listen, I'm one of your chronics, but I voted for Kerry today.
Good.
Hi, bye.
Hey, we like him today.
For one day only.
Well, maybe through next Tuesday. Maybe Kerry will win.
I listen to Neil all the time, and I have my radio set on 10 o'clock, and then the radio goes on, and then this Howard Stern is on.
Oh.
And
Well,
I don't like that.
don't you like Howard?
No.
He sure gets a lot of publicity, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I still don't like him.
Well, listen, happy Purim and vote several times, please.
Oh, I will.
Excellent. Thank you. Zagazun. Okay,
Okay,
bye-bye.
bye.
567, what time does this show start? Well, whenever we feel like it. Start whenever we feel like it. 10:45, 10:40, 2:30, 10:57. But again, we really start, I was telling her the MS, we start at 11 o'clock till 2, and whatever happens before that is like, we take a bunch of great calls. So get your appointments in now. We can schedule up till the year 2525.
The waiting room is filling up.
That is correct. We're getting that book is full. We're going to have to get like a new appointment book. Whatever happened to that thing? Did you ever send that to me? No.
That thing, I gave it to Brian to send to you, so you ought to be getting it shortly.
When was that?
Last week.
I'm talking about that planner.
Yeah, I gave it to him last week.
Well, he sure as hell didn't. He's busy sending me invoices for FedEx and stuff like that, but he isn't sending me stuff that's useful, that doesn't cost me any money. Come on, Baldy, let's get with it. And by the way, let me see if I can find this real fast, okay?
Okay.
Well, no, I can't.
You know, I said to hell with both of those idiots, and I penciled in and Bishop.
Dwight Lauderdale will be a little upset with you, okay? He'd like to get his licks in first. Ooh, what a thought, Oh, God. What is this story about Dwight's mustache,
What? What do you mean?
Well, why the hell did he ever shave it off? It makes him look about 40 years older.
Maybe he got tired of the way it smelt.
Is that what it was? It stunk? Well, I never thought about that. People with mustaches. Speaking of that, guess who called me yesterday? Your best close personal friend from Columbus, Ohio.
Rimmer.
It was a rim man. And he's going to be coming to South Florida to play golf pretty soon because he's got nothing else to do. And he won't be going to Pizza Loft to have free meals with Ponytail because Doug McClain's going with him, so he'll probably be going to Ruth Chris all the time since Doug will be buying. See, if he was coming down just with, like, family and stuff, he'd be going to Pizza Loft every day for free meals.
The Diebold video, machine video is up.
All right, we got more crap on our website today. If you don't hop on neilrogers.com today, man, your life ain't worth Schmidt, all right? You're missing some heavy-duty crap. 20 till 2, the Mad Dog coming along at 2 o'clock. He's already got it engineered in his mind how the Dolphins might just win another game this season, but don't hold your breath. Right now, let me tell you about not only were they able to qualify him, but they were able to present him 3 different options as to the type of mortgage he could get. And they worked closely with him to determine which was best, and then they made it happen. That's Guaranteed Mortgage Bankers in Deerfield Beach. You can call them toll-free, 1-800-734-6616, whether you're looking for an interest-only loan, a 30-year fixed rate,
About 30, man.
or one of the many low-rate adjustable mortgages. Guaranteed Mortgage Bankers in Deerfield Beach has exactly what you need. They offer payments as low as $332.
Spread 'em and say cheese.
Here's a little number I wrote the other day while out duck hunting with a judge. Quack. Thank you very much, the FCC. Thank you very much for fining me.
Yes.
$5,000 so I'm really out of luck. That's more than Heidi Fleiss was charging me. So, thank you very much, the FCC, for proving that free speech just isn't free. Clear Channel's a dear channel, so Howard Stern must go. Attorney General Ashcroft doesn't like strong words, and so he's charging twice as much as all the drugs for Rush Limbaugh. So thank you all so very much. So thank you very much, dear Mr. Bush, for heroically sitting on your tush. For Halliburton, Enron, all the companies who fail, let's send them a clear signal and stick Martha straight in jail. She's an uppity rich bitch, and at least she isn't male. So you all so very much. So you Dick Cheney too. You and everything you do. Your pacemaker must be a fake. You haven't got a heart. As far as I'm concerned, you're just a pasty-faced old fart. And as for Condoleezza, she's an intellectual tart. So you all so very much. So you very much, the EPA, for giving all Alaska's oil away. It really is a bummer when I can't fill my Hummer. The ozone's a no-go zone now that Arnold's here to say the nuclear winter games are going to take place in LA. The great white males, and you all so very much.
147 at 560. Now, let's cancel any appointments. You'll have to rebook them, phone calls for the rest of this hour.
We'll rebook them, Dano.
Rebook them for later in the week, or maybe right on Election Day, because I have this article by Bruce Shapiro in The Nation, the Rehnquist election. Very important stuff, even though it's over most people's heads. Most people are just well, who looks pretty good and who didn't fall down during the debate and who's a nice guy and who's got a firm handshake and who do I think is a liar. He says it's taken a cancerous tumor to do what the Kerry campaign would not, place the U.S. Supreme Court at the center of the presidential campaign's final days. Chief Justice William Rehn's ability to lead the court, the man's age and the unusually aggressive medical procedure he underwent may mean his prognosis isn't as routine as his back-to-work-in-a-week press statement suggests. But if nothing else, Rehnquist's illness concentrates the feverish political mind not just on the next administration's court appointments, but on the far more immediate possibility of a constitutional crisis in the aftermath of this contentious election. The obvious point about Rehnquist's illness is that it reminds voters of Bush versus Gore, of Roe v. Wade, of Miranda rights and the death penalty and affirmative action. But these emotionally charged matters obscure something else just as important. William Rehnquist is in many crucial ways the judicial godfather of the Bush administration and today's Republican right. Even more than that of Ronald Reagan, Rehnquist's biography is a roadmap to the fundamental ideological divides of the past half-century, and it is Rehnquist who more than any other individual erected, from the 1950s onward, the legal scaffolding around which the Bush administration has built its domestic politics and its foreign policies. In a real sense, this coming election is a referendum on William Rehnquist as much as it is on George W. Bush. Do I exaggerate? Consider where the Chief Justice's political biography begins as a clerk to Justice Robert Jackson at one of the defining moments of American law, the arguments over Brown versus the Board of Education. Rehnquist crafted memos defending segregation. The same young clerk egged on the executions of Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, sneering at justices whom he called old women for being uneasy about pulling the switch. These two issues, obstructing the enforcement of civil rights and aggressively advancing capital punishment, became virtual obsessions with Rehnquist. Beginning in Richard Nixon's Justice Department and since 1971 on the Supreme Court, he has labored mightily and with great success to hold aloft these two emotional issues as rallying points for the right-wing legal scholars and politicians alike, and no presidential candidate in history relied so literally upon these two issues as the George W. Bush of 2000, who proved his manhood by aggressive executions in Texas and won his office by disenfranchising African-American voters in Florida. The fact is that no administration, not even Reagan's, has depended upon Rehnquist's cumulative legacy of memos, tactics, rulings, and protégés as the Bush White House. Touch any live wire issue and sooner or later the current issues trace back to his office door. Consider those Florida voters. Decades before the 2000 election, Rehnquist, as a politically ambitious lawyer, pioneered finely honed challenges to registered African Americans at Arizona polling places. The excesses of the Patriot Act and John Ashcroft's Justice Department followed a line back to the early Nixon administration, when then Assistant Attorney General Rehnquist provided the first thorough legal scaffolding for political surveillance, wiretaps, and secret detention plans, and for his later Supreme Court decisions unleashing police powers. Corporate scandals. The Federalist Society, born under Rehnquist's patronage in 1982, produced not just Clarence Thomas, but a generation of anti-regulatory lawyers brought in by Bush to the EPA and other agencies. Where did the Bush White House turn to find executive branch authority for imprisonment and torture in Iraq and Afghanistan? To Rehnquist's 1970 memos in support of the invasion of neutral Cambodia. The pathway to Bush versus Gore was tiled with Rehnquist's briefs, memos, and rulings. Will, after all, Rehnquist's illness provoke a constitutional crisis? The reality is that the country's been in a constitutional crisis ever since Bush versus Gore, a crisis accelerated by the Bush administration's opportunistic response to 9/11. What Bush and his team have understood so clearly is that the same fear of disorder and crime that powered Rehnquist's career could be resuscitated under the guise of fighting terrorism, and with the same result. radically expanding the power of the executive branch generally and the imperial presidency in particular. What binds Bush and Rehnquist so closely is not anything that should properly be called conservative, but an aggressive commitment to dismantling the federal government's enforcement of civil rights and civil liberties while expanding the state's power to police and punish. I point all this out not to feel clever and certainly not to wish an elderly cancer patient ill. Rather, Chief Justice Rehnquist's brush with malignancy is a reminder of the Bush agenda that is older and deeper and more enduring than the alarms of 9/11 or the agonizing catastrophes of Iraq. The question is not whether this election will provoke a constitutional crisis, but whether it will resolve the crisis that's been brewing for years. Pretty good stuff by Bruce Shapiro.
Oi!
In the Nation. Don't forget, join George and Miguel and Boca Brian Happy Hour, 5 to 7 this afternoon, Treasure Island, right off the Palmetto, just north of the 122nd Street exit. Stop by to win some of our low-budget, embarrassing, humiliating, and degrading QM prizes, but while you're there, be sure and check out this week's feature, Stephanie Evans. She'll be shooting some at you. Or maybe the other way around. You never know.
You never know.
153, yes?
That video is no big deal. The Catherine Harris video.
Right.
They're acting chummy, but it ain't no.
Well, then get it off of there then. If it's not something
no, we didn't
really
put it on. I just thought,
Well, like I said, it's a damn good thing we didn't put it on, you know. I'll tell you one thing I know. IRS tax problems have got a way of ruining your life, baby. They destroy you financially, physically, and emotionally. You have nightmares all night. You can never forget about your IRS problems as they come back each morning when you wake up in a cold sweat. CPA Jamie Buchwald and the Buchwald Tax Firm can help you end your IRS problems forever and give you back peace of mind. That's why other top CPA and law firms refer their clients to the Buchwald Tax Firm when they've got IRS problems. So why not avoid potential criminal prosecution? Get all unfiled tax returns prepared even if you lost all your records. Suppose you have an IRS lien. Await 54575-2800.
You're listening to Neil Rogers exclusively on 560 QAM.
He sold him, first-time aggressor nation, and the only one that's going. Now more blood will be spilled to get that oil flowing. Forget about Korea and the nukes they're toting, and the right wing is drilling it over and over into our heads that Iraq has some weapons of mass destruction. Thousand people killed are now forgotten. Let's exploit them instead. Hey, there's oil to be gotten. Going after Saddam to placate Osama. There's no longer mention of the name Bin Laden, but no one seems concerned, all comfy and complacent, believing every word of this cartel administration that controls us by fear through media manipulation. That Iraq has some weapons of mass destruction. The loss of civil rights is the price that we're paying. We're all suspects now, Nazi Ashcroft is saying. I have nothing to hide, table talkers all are saying. Blind obedient cattle don't have any reservation. Without unprovoked battle and world annihilation. Old regimes must fall and Halliburton installed with no objection at all. Democrats don't have the balls and the right wing is drilling it over and over into our brainwashed heads. Iraq has some weapons of mass destruction. Only Iraq has some weapons of mass destruction. I'm dying over here.
Bye, bye, bye! Our Star Show, Neil Rogers and Sports around the clock. Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
Marriage one is bad, okay?
Spoke some this morning.